Violent crime, these are all government numbers.
America's listening to Fox News.
This Eunice Cardinals Sports Update is being brought to you by Guns Up Services. Go Cardinals.
Guns Up Services, LLC of Eunice, supporting the community for over 13 years. Would like to wish the Cardinals another great season and also encourage everybody to show up in support of all Eunice Cardinal sports. With oil field services that range from vacuum trucks, winch trucks, dump trucks, and backhoes. They have frac tanks, caliche, downhole chemicals, saltwater disposal, and freshwater sales. That's Guns Up Services, LLC, helping to keep our oil field trucking. 2403 Avenue O, Eunice, or call at 575-399-2457. Go Cardinals!
Coach, what can fans look forward to? What are you looking forward to? And tell us about some of your players this year.
It's going to be an exciting year of football. Football's always exciting, but man, it seems to take forever to get here and then turn around, and we're getting ready to start week 1 next week. But fans can look forward to, and everybody can look forward to, a year full of some hard-hitting action. We're going to be running the ball hard, and it's just going to be, we return a bunch of kids from our season last year, which we fell short in the state championship game, but we won 10 games, and I'm excited to see what they're going to put on the field Friday nights, and I feel extremely blessed because I get the best seat in the house every Friday night.
And I guess we're looking forward to going back to those state championships and maybe taking it home this year.
Yeah, and that's one of those hard lessons learned. Getting there is one thing, and winning it is something completely different. So we're going to lean into our senior leadership and those returning players I alluded to. I mean, when you return 9 starters on offense and 7 starters on defense, you have a lot of experience and a highly motivated group of young men that are excited to get back at it.
And the Eunice Cardinals will get their season started at home versus the Ruidoso Warriors at 7 p.m.
This Eunice Cardinals Sports Update has been brought to you by Guns Up Services, 2403 Avenue O in Eunice. Proudly serving the community for over 13 years. Go Cardinals.
Hear ye, hear ye. Step back in time for the time of your life at the 3rd Annual Cavern City Renaissance Festival. Enjoy a weekend of magic and merriment with captivating music, thrilling armored combat, and all-new dazzling stage performances. Savor bountiful food and drink as you explore 2 stages of non-stop entertainment and discover unique treasures from over 70 artisan vendors. Bring your whole family for an unforgettable adventure on September 27th and 28th at the Carlsbad Beach Park. Advertisement paid for by the City of Carlsbad Lodgers Tax.
OMG, is that actually an egg frying on my hood?
No, I think it may be all those bugs stuck to your grill starting to cook. Ugh, hard to say. I can't see through the layers of desert dirt all over my windshield.
Wait, what is this? Am I pulling into a car wash? Oh, yeah!
We're gonna get so wet! Hey, we clean up nice.
Visit your local area Mighty Wash in West Texas, Hobbs, Carlsbad, and now open in Lovington, New Mexico. Be sure to ask about the Mighty Wash Unlimited plan, good at any Mighty Wash. Visit mymightywash.com for pricing and locations.
Fortune awaits you at Casino Apache this August. Don't miss out on our $90,000 cash fortune drawing. Play every Tuesday and Thursday in August to earn entries. Then join us at 8 p.m. We'll draw 10 winners and award them anywhere from $250 to $2,500 cash. Claim your share of the $90,000 cash fortune at Casino Apache. Must be 21 or older. Visit CasinoApacheTravelCenter.com or see Apache Spirit Club booth for details.
Awesome Graphics, a sign, screen print, and embroidery shop in Hobbs, New Mexico, is expanding and has an immediate opening for a full-time production employee. Job will require the applicant to operate an automatic screen printer, multiple head embroidery machine, as well as large format printers and plotters. Applicant's ability to work safely, quickly, and independently with attention to detail is a must. Knowledge of these processes is desired but not required. Awesome Graphics is willing to train the right applicant, offering competitive pay and benefits, including paid holidays and paid vacation. Don't delay. Bring your resume and apply in person today at 523 West Sanger in Hobbs, New Mexico. Again, Awesome Graphics now hiring a full-time sign, screen print, and embroidery production person. No phone calls. Please apply in person today at 523 West Sanger in Hobbs. Awesome Graphics is an equal opportunity employer.
Southeast New Mexico weather. The Southeast New Mexico forecast down to 285 as temperatures at 104 degrees in Roswell on this Wednesday. Yeah, it's a hot drive for sure. And Carlsbad Artesia at 104 degrees. Hobbs and Lovington, our studio, about 101 degrees. And once again, dry weather conditions. Tomorrow in Lovington at our studios, 103 degrees on Thursday and 105 in Carlsbad. For W105 FM, I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts.
Your country plays on W105.
You guys ready?
Be in the Breakfast Club, broadcasting from the Inn of the Mountain Gods studio. Text line at 877-396-W105. Powered by Amigo Machinery, your Kubota dealer. Question of the day brought to you by Lovington Auto Supply, your Napa dealer.
And I want to make sure I get the quote exactly right.
You seem particularly triggered right now.
Welcome back this morning.
What are you smiling at?
Just happy I have a job.
I love work. I love my job.
I love working here.
I love my job.
I love working.
I love your work.
I have a job to do.
I have a job.
What job is that?
Put on a show.
Put on a great show.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Are you waiting for me to say something?
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Still waiting for you to say
Showtime.
And good morning to you. It is B and the Breakfast Club. I'm Blake O. I got Tom A. and Will along for the ride today.
What's going on, guys?
Learning well. And the question of the day today is being brought to you by Lovington Auto Supply. Of course, we're broadcasting from the Inn of the Mountain God studio. Our text line is open, 877-396-9105. And that's brought to us by Amigo Machinery right there. The question of the day, let's go through what today is first. How about that? Today is National Brazilian Blowout Day.
And not what you think it might be.
Right?
I mean, it's an actual hairstyle, and it doesn't have anything to do with below the waist. Just FYI.
Yeah, that was kind of my first question. And it's also National Senior Citizens Day, and it's National Spumoni Day. So, which is
Spumoni?
Yeah, that's like the Italian ice cream.
Oh,
right. So
what do you put on that thing?
It's got like candied fruits and nuts and stuff in it. It's pretty
Where's
good.
Spam?
No spam. Spumoni. S-P-U.
Spam?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I don't even think Hawaiians would go there for ice cream.
No, I don't think so. 9 days till Labor Day weekend, and the NFL season kicks off in 15 days. And like I said, the question of the day today is going to be, since it's Senior Citizen Day, who's your favorite senior citizen and why? And again, our text line is open, 877-396-9105, and that is being brought to you by Amigo Machinery. A lot of stuff went on last night, gentlemen, at the DNC, and I got a lot of sound bites for it.
Could the rhetoric be any thicker?
No, I don't think it could. And it starts off with, I'm just going to get right into one of the sound bites. This is Barack Obama dumping on Donald Trump. Let's see if I can make everything work right here. We'll be okay.
There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
I like that.
It just goes on and on and on.
I think when he says goes on and on and on, I think he's talking about the actual crowd sizes for Donald Trump's rallies.
Oh, I was going to say, because, I mean, okay, one has big crowds, the other has trouble filling a high school gym.
Right, right. And so, you got to remember, this isn't long after the Obamas kicked Joe Biden to the curb, right? I mean, like, they were really responsible for getting him pushed out. Right. And so,
but they're acting like, I mean, well, I don't know if you heard Fox News a minute ago there. He was, I'm proud to call him my president and my friend. Yeah, whatever, dude. You're the one that gave him the boot.
Right. You kicked him to the curb.
Well, and he said that, and he said, yeah, proud to call him my friend. And you heard that on Fox News. And that's kind of what I was getting at, Will. But then listen to how the tone changed, because that was a less jovial tone. Let's say it that way. And listen to what he said when he was talking about Kamala Harris.
That's who Kamala is. And in the White House, she will have an outstanding partner in Governor Tim Walz.
Can I throw up now?
I think he likes him better.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I love this guy.
So
clearly, he likes him better.
Right? I mean, is there any question to that? You know, and I don't know if you saw it or not, but when Tim Walz came out last night, because he was there, Kamala Harris was in Milwaukee, but Tim Walz was there, and when he walked out onto the runway, he was like a rock star coming out. Like he was jumping around like a rock star on stage. I don't know how else to describe that. He had his arms in the air, kind of dancing like he had won the lottery. and I don't know if that's indicative of what we're going to get, you know, and that you're going to get someone who looks a lot older than he is, but then acts younger.
Well, acts younger and has more progressive policies for someone who's, you know, normally age brings wiseness. You can't say that with some of these Democrats, man, because I'm just like, how can you not realize that these things, and I think some of them do realize it, they just realize that their pockets are filled by the other side.
They are. And yeah, and then Bernie Sanders, right? I didn't listen to this cut ahead of time, but I have it labeled as not a radical agenda. So I imagine that he's talking about how Kamala Harris's agenda is not radical. And for Bernie to say something's not radical,
right,
that means that it's very radical. Let's hear it for the first time together.
And let us be very clear. This is not a radical agenda.
Okay, says Bernie.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, if you're going to trust anybody, it would be Bernie, right?
Yeah. And wow.
Well, it's not radical for him because he's so left anyway.
And so again, our text line brought to us by Amigo Machinery, 877-396-9105. The question of the day is, who's your favorite senior citizen? But you can also send us comments on the things we're already talking about from the DNC last night. And Tom, I'm gonna let you go ahead and get to the text here real quick.
I don't think he's gonna want to.
Bunch of hate this morning.
Really? Go ahead.
I hate this morning. We'll start with 432 Liberal. He says, did he just say wiseness?
Wiseness?
Yeah, wiseness, whatever he was referring to.
I have no idea what he's referring to.
And good morning, Will, Blake, and dummy Tom. I left the ASS out. Good to hear you, Will. I hope all is well with you, and I vote for Mandy to replace Tom on B in the Breakfast Club. Now, he couldn't read my text yesterday because it had T-A-M-P-O-N, Tim. No cojones in the text, says the texter.
Because Tom won't say the word tampon when he's reading it in a text.
So can't say ass, can't say tampon. we're just add it to the list.
Yeah. So,
oh man.
Yeah, they're hating this morning. Anyway,
okay. Well,
there you go.
Well, and that wasn't David in our teaser. Will in person today. Time to get rid of Tom.
Oh yeah, Dave's always beating them.
Jody from Lovington. Wow, Blake, the sports update sounds so much better now.
Oh well, thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, we're working on them. We'll get them better. And so far here, since we have sponsors this morning, so far our sound bites. Let's say it was brought to you by Zia Guns this morning. Zia Guns, 1907 North Main in Roswell, over 1,000 firearms in stock, handguns, rifles, and shotguns. Are you looking for personal protection? They have lethal and non-lethal personal protection. Me, I like lethal, just like Kevin does, because I don't want them getting back up. But you can find the right gun at Zia Guns. Trade in, trade up by trading in your old gun. Ladies, you are encouraged to visit them as well. Stop in and see their expert staff at Zia Guns, and they offer customer satisfaction. You can also call them 575-622-0023. And, you know, we were talking about just the DNC in general, right? I mean, there's just so much stuff. Like I have all these sound bites, but the governor of New Mexico was there.
Yes.
Right. I had a hard time finding any story about what she said and what she did. Like it literally 5 minutes before we started the show, I finally found one. And
but you had to look and refresh like 5 times.
I know. And it's like 4 paragraphs long. It said day 2. She
So
delivered a speech.
we're looking at New Mexico news sites too.
Yes.
We're not looking at national stuff. We're not expecting the governor of New Mexico to rate, when you have Barack Obama and some of these others talking, she's not going to rate very high, and you're not going to see that in national news. But we're looking at so they reported yesterday she was going to speak, and today it was kind of crickets.
Well, because you knew what she was going to talk about, right? I mean,
Right.
this says so. That what she did was she talked about how Harris, if she wins, she would cap drug prices, i.e. price controls, and she would ensure that any woman can get an abortion all the way to birth for the whole country, I guess. I mean, and she touted Harris's time as California's attorney general. And I think that's really interesting because by any measure, I don't think Kamala Harris had a successful time as attorney general.
Well, let's just I'm just going to throw this out there. So all of these people from not just California, San Francisco, California, Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
How is San Francisco faring as far as cities in America go? One of the worst, one of the highest priced places to live,
right?
One of the highest homeless rates, one of the highest crime rates,
right?
I mean, you can just go down the list of how. I mean, it's just I don't know.
Homeless rates too.
Oh, I said that. I don't know why any liberals would continue, especially the liberals that live in that area.
Right.
Because even though you're in the echo chamber there with liberal central, it's still like how miserable you must be to do that. And I guess they just I don't know.
Well, I have
put the blinders on.
I have friends who are liberal and they live in San Francisco, and they love their city, but they don't like what it's become. Right. And I get that. Anywhere you live, you like the place, but if it goes bad, you don't like that. If crime goes up, anyway.
How did they think that happened?
That's a good question.
Where's Dirty Harry when you need him?
My friends are actually looking to move out. So
and I think I believe Kevin's brother lives there too, doesn't he? Doesn't Dean live in San Francisco?
I think so.
I think I think that's right, but I'm
that's
not.
The liberal brother. I'm pretty sure he lives there too. So that's another thing. So
I just don't know. I mean, tell me where these things succeed at. I don't see any succeeding. But anyway, let's talk about Michelle Obama. She decided that she was going to really play the race card, right? Because she's threatened. She says that Trump is threatened by successful black people, and I just don't see that, right? And so she's talking about affirmative action and all of those things. And here's the clip.
Most of us will never be afforded the grace of failing forward. We will never benefit from the affirmative action of generational wealth.
So she's trying to say it's bad because he's wealthy.
If we bankrupt a business or choke in a crisis, we don't get a second, third, or fourth chance. If things don't go our way, we don't have the luxury of whining or cheating others to get further ahead. No. We don't
Did
get
he
to
whine?
change the rules
Did he cheat?
so we always win. If we see a mountain in
Who
front of
changed
us,
the rules?
we don't expect there to be an escalator waiting to take us to the top. No.
So she's talking about Donald Trump there and saying that he has all those things.
Sure. Well, and because I'm sure that, when she's talking about generational wealth, I'm sure her kids are going to be destitute after they are done with all of this, right?
Sure.
Her kids are not going to benefit from the millions of dollars the Obamas made while he was president. The millions of dollars. No, they're not going to benefit from that. They're going to be on their own.
They got a big house to live in Hawaii and also in the
don't they have like
Martha's
3
Vineyard.
houses now?
Yeah.
The grandkids are never going to benefit. So this is just, so I love how people who have wealth criticize other people who have wealth. And the difference between Donald Trump made his wealth through business.
He did.
Barack Obama made his wealth through political favors.
Yes. And, and just in case you think that only the lunacy was going on inside the DNC, well, take a listen to this guy on the outside. Now, this is pretty funny because he talks about how he wants to get rid of all the Republicans so that all the immigrants can come in. I thought that was pretty telling. And then listen, right at the very end, listen to what the question they ask him.
If I had my choice, in my perfect world, every Republican is out of the country and all the immigrants come in. That's what I want. It's never going to happen. That's what I want.
But we're all immigrants. We all came from somewhere else.
Right, so.
But we're all immigrants. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So only the immigrants, all the Republicans can go.
Right.
So I hate to tell people that, there's a lot of Hispanics, and although they may benefit from the Democrats bringing them in, there's going to be some that are going to be like in Miami with the Cubans coming over that are not going to be voting on the left.
No, they won't.
And the only reason they might when they first come over is because that's who's giving them the handout.
Right. So,
But there's a lot of people that are, once they get here and they get established, they're not going to want the handout because a lot of these people had to work hard to get where they're at to even be able to get the $10,000 to come here.
Right. They had to get that amount of money together. How many Americans could pull together $10,000 to go somewhere?
I mean, with this inflation, not many.
Right. And the one thing that's really holding us all together is the oil and gas industry. Right. I mean, in Southeast New Mexico, we have the number 1 and 2 counties of production.
We're lucky to be in a bubble as far as that goes.
We are.
As far as the economy bubble.
And speaking of oil, we got to get to the oil prices today. Brought to you by Spinnaker Oil. Get a great job in the oil field. Spinnaker Cementing Solutions and Cud Energy Services hiring a service supervisor, a CDL required, diesel mechanics, electronic technicians, equipment operators, and experienced pressure pump hands. You'll receive excellent salary at one of the best benefit programs in the industry. That's really important right now with the way this economy is going. And yes, housing is also provided. Spinnaker is an equal opportunity and drug-free employer. Text oil field to 63566 or visit greatoilfieldsjobs.com.
West Texas Intermediate, $73.27, $77.33 for Brent crude, and the price of natural gas is $2.20, guys.
All right, and we got to get to the weather too. This weather brought to you right now by Seminole Siding and Construction. And Will, you know a thing or two about these guys. They're a trusted name in the Southeast New Mexico for exceptional construction and siding service. And while they offer residential services, their specialty is the construction of commercial and industrial type metal buildings. From start to finish, Seminole Siding and Construction offers a comprehensive solution for all your construction needs. Don't settle for anything less than the best. Choose Seminole Siding and Construction for your next project and experience a difference quality makes. Now contact them today to get started. 575-391-1430. Commercial metal buildings, industrial metal buildings, shingle and metal roofs, siding, soffit and fascias, doors and windows, and seamless gutters. Or you can go to SeminoleSidingAndConstruction.com. And like I said, Will, I know you got some experience with those guys.
Oh, very, very definitely. They came in, and my house, the siding was just bad. I mean, it was a really dull tan, and it was faded at that. So they came in, and it looks like a whole new house.
Yeah,
because they completely resided it with this state-of-the-art brand new siding. They did all the soffit and fascia, everything. I mean, I touted this because they took every little attention to detail. They replaced a beam that I had in my porch. They turned around and they even took the dryer cover and made it so it matched the house. It's just a lot of detail. And then later they came by to check everything. One of their guys, their supervisors, came by. He didn't like something. He's like, no, this isn't right. And I was like, I didn't even notice there was anything wrong. He's like, no, it's not right. And they came back and redid one whole side of the house because he wasn't happy. So, I mean, I'm just telling you, when you're talking about quality and these guys, I can't tout them enough because they really do a great job. And, the workers didn't know who I was. The owner did, right. But the workers didn't know who I was. So they were just doing the normal job they always do. And they did a fantastic job, showed up, worked their butts off and, got it done in record time. So it was, quality work and done in a pretty fast. I mean, it was a big job, but it took a long time. I mean, took them a decent time, but they did it fast. So very cool. But I appreciate Seminole Siding and Construction very much.
And we still got to get to thought of the day and taking out the trash today. But like I said, need to check on the weather. Man, it's going to be hot all week. 102, 99. Hey, we dropped down going into Saturday, just below 100.
Wow.
Does not look like there's a chance of rain anywhere in sight. And you can always check our forecast by going to our website, W105radio.com, and checking it out there. Weather brought to you by All American Cleaners, family owned and operated, and we treat our customers like family. They can wash and fold your clothes. 17 pounds of clothes for just $16.99. Tom, you need to look into that. Roswell, Artesia, Carlsbad, Lovington, and Hobbs, allamericancleaners.net.
Then he couldn't go shirtless to McDonald's if he didn't use the laundromat,
Yeah. Did you hear that story?
Oh yeah, no. Trust me, the listeners let me know. I hear a lot of stuff, even though I'm not on the show every day. The listeners definitely, they're like they report back to me. Let me tell you.
So we found out that the reason that they didn't serve him wasn't because he just didn't have a shirt on. It's because they thought he was naked.
Oh, it was worse. They thought he was like all the way gone.
Right. Yeah, because he was wearing shorts, but they couldn't see the shorts.
Well, I wonder why they couldn't see the shorts. What would have been blocking the shorts, Tom? I mean, it couldn't have been your chitonas or anything. So Joseph says, "Good to hear you on the radio, Will." I'll do the text real quick. Cubans are taking Midland, Odessa over. Well, depending on the situation, that's not horrible, but there's some good Cubans out there. There's good immigrants everywhere, but there's bad immigrants too, and we're not vetting anybody, and that's the problem. And there again,
absolutely,
I welcome people who want to come here for a better life, as long as they do it the right way. Oil Hauler says, "I'm original Will hater, but I'm glad to hear you're doing good. And Tom, don't listen to these guys. This show would be canceled if it wasn't for you." So there you go, Tom. Some love for you.
Finally, some love. And no birthday present, he said.
No.
Oh, still not buying you a birthday gift.
Today. I'm 9 days away from my birthday, though, huh?
You have a, oh, that's right. Me and B and Tom have birthdays within like 3 days of each other.
Right.
Wow. So
I forgot about yours.
Happy birthday, gentlemen.
You forgot about mine. This was kind of an important one for me too, Tom, but thanks for that. Yeah. So this is the big 5-0's coming up.
Really? 5-0? Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Tracy from Eunice, good to hear you, Will, on the show. So thank you very much, buddy. And Critical in Pecos says, text message for William. Tom, seriously, dude, why don't you just find employment somewhere your terrible cognitive ability doesn't affect? Oh. And so it doesn't affect your job duties. I'm serious, bro. Why do you torture us with your chronic inability to do your job? Critical in Pecos says he's always loving on you, Tom.
Yeah, we gotta love you too, Critical.
Go ahead.
Old San Francisco joke: Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat. Now it's so another substance, and not the one you might think, but the San Francisco treat. I know what he was getting at, because they're talking about basically the high homosexual population in San Francisco, but. I don't know. I'm thinking pooperoni sounds more like, because the way they have all their feces on the streets.
And Kathy from the patch is chiming in. She says, "I wish everybody would quit saying we are immigrants. I'm not an immigrant. I was born here in America, and this is my country."
Natural born citizen.
Yeah.
Yep.
But all of us came from immigrants at some point.
Well, sure. I mean, my family came from Ireland, right straight to Fort Stockton, Texas, and from there, populated, and we went to for other places in Texas and Ruidoso. So I mean, it's that's yes, but how many we have 3 generations now that have been born in the United States.
There you go.
So
yeah, and some more, some fewer. I mean, that's just the way it goes. And talking about Tom going through the drive-through, it brings us to, I want to do my thought of the day today. Not Tom going through the drive-through. That's not what it is. But thought of the day. My thought of the day is, don't you hate it when you're getting dressed in the morning and you say to yourself, "Man, I got to lay off the cheeseburgers," and then you think, Cheeseburger. The thought of the day brought to you by Wakefield Oil. Over 35 years of serving Southeast New Mexico with quality products and excellent service. Dependable. We don't come in when the boom is here. We are always here, serving all of Southeast New Mexico and parts of West Texas. Delivery of gas and diesel, both on-road and off-road, along with oil and DEF fluid, value and service that can't be beat. You can follow them over on Facebook at wakefieldoil.com or give them a call, 575-622-4160, sponsor of the thought of the day. And we're talking DNC, right? We're still on the political thing. But something happened outside of there with Robert Kennedy Jr., right? And he's the third-party candidate running. For those that don't know, he's running as an independent.
Right.
And his running mate is Nicole Shannon. That's who he has named to be his vice president. Well, she just said something kind of interesting. And she is talking that they need to drop out and join Trump because the risk of a Harris-Walz presidency isn't worth us staying in. Which you can take that how you want, and you can say, yeah, he's only polling at about 2 or 3%, but that 2 or 3% could be big if he pulls that group of folks into the Trump camp.
Well, when you're talking about the swing states,
yes,
2 or 3% is all that could have made the difference in the last election for a couple of them.
Well, and you look at who his voters are, and when you're talking the Rust Belt area, most likely those are the swing voters you need to bring into Trump's camp, and those are the swing states. So that could be real interesting. I'm going to keep an eye on that to see where that goes, because she was talking to, it was on a podcast that they did. Even though they're calling him a spoiler candidate, she thinks that they could do that. And then the DNC is accusing, she's accusing the DNC of sabotage against their camp. So they got a whole bunch of reasons why they want to join Trump.
Well, they definitely did. I mean, they got done dirty, no question.
Oh,
there are things that I like about Kennedy, but there's things I don't. But that being said, they got treated dirty. You can't argue that.
No. And Xcel Energy, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, Will. They are addressing the call for customers to reduce the power usage. And of course, they got a lot of backlash from that because people don't like to be told that they should turn down or turn up their air conditioner, because they ask all their customers to do that, right? To set their air conditioners higher, turn off all their lights, don't use appliances during peak periods. And if you look at what happened in Texas in the big freeze, you understand why they do that, because the electric grid can get overloaded. And especially on an electric grid like Xcel that uses a lot of green energy and production methods, right? They still use the other regular production methods too, but they tout that they use a lot of wind and solar.
Right.
But why? I mean, especially in this area. Why?
Because they're from Minnesota.
I know. So we're going to use wind and solar to power the pump jacks out in the oil field. That sounds like perfect. It makes sense to me.
But anyway, so they said, quote, "We issued conservation appeals knowing that at this point, if something else were to break or we had another unit offline, we would be in a load shed situation." I don't think most people know what that means, but what that really translates to is, please don't give us any more backlash. I mean, that's what it translates to, right?
Look, I understand conserving and making, so that people don't have an outage, because yes, I have Xcel at the house, and that would be tragic.
Right.
Thankfully, we use Lee County Electric at our studios and at our transmitter.
Right.
And they don't have the same issues.
No, we don't. And I had Xcel at my house in Hobbs, and when I moved to Lovington, of course, now we have Lee County Electric. So, and I honestly like Lee County Electric a lot.
They take care of us.
Yeah, they're really good.
Not like me. Now I want to conserve, but my bus is made out of siding, aluminum siding on the outside. Right. So when the sun hits it, the whole house is hot, like 97 degrees inside yesterday.
You need to get some of those foam panels and just put it on the outside for.
I think I'm going to call Enrique. Maybe install it on.
Yeah, call him. He'll come look at your air conditioner.
Yeah,
he knows what that is. And a California man is being charged with allegedly selling firearms without a license. Interstate travel while selling firearms and making unlawful transactions to promote the sale. Now that he did that here in New Mexico. Brian Joseph, 52, he appeared in front of a federal judge, and that judge says that he will remain in custody because between October of 21 and November of 22, he sold firearms in Bernalillo County without a license. You know, this is the kind of stuff that the governor's little memo was supposed to address, but never did because those people don't listen. And he would.
Well, wait a minute. So someone who's not going to follow the law and get a license and sell these firearms illegally, wait, they're not gonna pay attention to the law or the memo the governor sends out? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Anyway, he did it. He traveled back and forth from California to New Mexico to get guns and resell them in California. So it's even worse.
Well, I was gonna say the dude. I mean, granted, you know, it's a lot of that. The dude's brave. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're going through two liberal states. I mean, one's way worse than the other with California, but still, that's you're taking. You know.
Yeah.
Good luck.
If he's convicted, he will face up to 20 years in jail, and it's federal. So he will serve that. That's not a New Mexico thing, you know.
Well, it goes along with the narrative of the left. So if you kill someone or you rape or you traffic or anything else, you'll be let out with a wrist slap. We'll plead you down and we'll get you out of there. But if you go, you know, God forbid you sell guns. Now, granted, if they were selling them legally, they probably throw the real book at them.
Right.
But you know, illegally, well, we're still going to throw the book.
Well, and the only reason that they're doing that is because it's federal, because he went across state lines. If this was New Mexico, he'd be out in 2 years.
Yeah.
But someone who's working against that is State Representative for District 61, Randall Pettigrew. And he reminds you that Governor Grisham continues to attack our way of life, our businesses, our freedoms, our kids, and our values are in the constant crosshairs of her administration. Randy Pettigrew promises to be your conservative voice in Santa Fe. And this isn't an empty promise. He stands proudly on his results, and he does. I've had to talk to Randy several times, and he solved problems for me and Kevin and Will and everybody else. And if you need him and you need to get in touch with Randy, you can go to randallpettigrew.com, and this message is paid for by Randy Pettigrew.
Well, Randy's cell phone is right there on his website too. You can get in touch, and he makes it very easy to get in touch with him.
He does. And he is one of the good ones. He's one of the ones up there that is trying to defend us and defend our way of life. So make sure you get in touch with Randy today.
Well, the cool thing about a lot of our, you know, we may not have a lot of power in Santa Fe as far as being in the minority as far as the parties go, but a lot of our representatives make sure that they get key positions in different committees.
Yes.
And the longer we keep them up there, the more seniority they have, and the better they have a chance of getting in some of those different key committees. And that actually gives us some power and some leverage when it comes to some of these bad bills. And they've proven that. Both Larry Scott, Randy Pettigrew, Jim Townsend, several of our guys in Southeast New Mexico have really gone above and beyond and done what they can to get some of this stuff done. So it's just that much more important. But here's the thing. All of it's moot if we don't go out and vote in November and get as many people to stay there as we possibly can. And then, of course, change as many parties as we can to the R, because it's scary. I mean, you think about Leger Fernandez and you know, Stansbury and some of these other, you know, candidates that we actually hear in our, because of the redistricting, some of us in Roswell and Hobbs and Carlsbad have a chance to vote for some of those people. Obviously, we need to get Vasquez the hell out of there.
Yes.
But and you know, we need to get Yvette back up in DC.
Correct.
Because that's just a given. But it's just scary that the only reason Yvette's not there now is because Lee County and Eddy County didn't show up to vote. Do not do that again, because we will not have a country. We will not have a livelihood. We say this every time, but there has never been a time in our lifetime that we've ever been this close.
You ain't
I have
lying.
never been so scared that we actually could lose the things that we value, our freedom of speech, our freedom of religion, all these things. Look at all the things that they're attacking. Christians have never been under more attack more than now. Even Jews have never been more attacked. And it's okay to be anti-Semitic nowadays because of all the anti, the pro-Hamas stuff. It's just crazy to me how the world is shifting and how much the West is being pressured and how the young. I'm glad my boys both have their heads on straight, but they come back, and all they see on I asked one of my sons, I was like, what kind of things are you seeing on your For You stuff on TikTok and stuff? Democrat, Harris, everything. They're just getting inundated with that stuff.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of that's going on. And so the next generation, if we don't prove to them why this is the smart play, then we're not going to have another chance.
That is 100% true. And I'm going to lead that right into my taking out the trash today. So taking out the trash, brought to you by Trash Eaters, offers you all your waste hauling needs, from residential trash pickup to commercial waste hauling. And they love Tom when he doesn't hit their dumpsters. They offer the 96-gallon Polycart 2 and 4 yard metal dumpsters and roll-off containers. Wasn't that one a 4 yard that you hit? I think, yeah. For all your commercial, yeah, for all your commercial and residential waste hauling needs, call Kayleen today, 575-408-1719. Trash Eaters is a local veteran-owned company. Again, 575-890-4549 or trash-eaters.com. This is my taking out the trash. Happened up in Farmington. New Mexico State Police arrested a man who allegedly shot at one of their officers during a traffic stop Monday up in Farmington. Yesterday, they were still looking for him. Late last night, they got him. They identified him as Fernando Silva, and he shot at least 50 rounds at a state police officer when he was pulled over.
My goodness.
Now, thankfully, he's a bad shot, and the officer is okay. Silva sped off, but San Juan County Sheriff's deputies say they took him into custody without incident late Tuesday. And state police is asking anyone that does have information to contact them, 505-841-9256. We need fewer bad guys like this. We need people who's going to stand up to crime, people like Donald Trump, who last time crime was low. And he has said that he's going to get crime down in cities like Chicago and Albuquerque and all of those things. And so, yeah, that's my taking out the trash today, is this guy up there shooting at police. Oh, and I made it.
Uh-oh.
that was
That
was a backhanded wave, and I got it. That was pretty good. I'm proud of myself for that. And we do have a phone call this morning. So if you guys want, we're going to go to a phone call. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Frank calling from the farm today. I'm off.
Good morning, Frank.
And yes, sir. And yesterday, sir, I apologize if I offended anyone or said anything wrong, but it's just we're in a critical situation with this election, and every election. But we thought that goodness was always gonna fill the shoes of, it was always gonna be here, goodness, and goodness hasn't been here for a while in this country. We got evil administrations taking over and trying to create havoc for ourselves. Now we're getting attacked within our own politicians, our own systems, our own administration putting more restrictions on its citizens, which is us, and trying to bring laws and rules from other countries over here. And no, that doesn't fly with us, because we fought to be where we're at today, free, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, all those freedoms, and they want to take them away. They want to bring other policies and laws from other countries over here, these politicians, because they're bought and paid for. So Europe, Australia, New Zealand, a whole bunch of countries are praying for us to do the right thing, and I'm praying for us to do the right thing. That's why yesterday I spoke in Spanish a little bit because my friends, relatives, neighbors, compadres, comadres, I mean, hermanos, hermanas, brothers and sisters, and everybody, you know, cousins, primos, cuñados, cuñadas, all of us are saying, you know what, we have to put this on the not on the back burner, but we have to put it up in front of us and share it with a lot of people. Our county, Stark County, has almost been decimated. But last year, the last election, for 2%, we would have turned red 100%. But 2% of the people in Stark County didn't vote conservative. We like to call it conservative, which is Republican. Because if we say Republican, then you have to put in consideration Nick Rodney, the rhinos. So we say conservative, right? And and we vote Republican all the way down, right? So Trump, when he came into office in 2016, or he came down the escalator in 2015 and started saying, "Make America Great Again," man, that was like a candy to a baby. You know, we were all, yeah, let's go. Vámonos, camarada, vamos a votar. Este vato nos va a sacar del pozo. This guy's gonna get us out of the hole, man.
Right.
With jobs and stuff. So, you know, we voted and he became president, and then the election got stolen. And you see, George Soros bought a whole bunch, and I go back to this old story again. George Soros controls a whole bunch. He controls Hillary, Barack Obama. So George Soros took away in 2015, he took away the president from Ukraine and put his own, which was Zelensky.
Right.
And then he bragged about it. And he said, I can be president too if I wanted to, but, you know. And then they started this war because what they're trying to do is they're trying to squeeze everybody in a one world order. And I remember in the Bible when somebody wanted to do a Babylon Tower all the way to the heavens, and God said, no. Right. He destroyed the tower. And then he changed the languages on all the people, right?
Yep, that's why we got all the languages we got.
God has a plan. Every language,
Amen.
Every religion, he's got a plan for us. But if we try to break his plan to do a one world order, he's not going to allow it. He's not going to allow it because he didn't allow it then. He's not going to allow it now. And then I go back last week talking about the red heifer that they flew over there to Israel from Texas to do some sacrifices. And then in the New Testament, you know, God said, I'm going to send you my own beloved son. And, you know, he came so we wouldn't do any more sacrifices.
Right.
So, and how many, what do you call those big boats that have airplane carriers or fighter jet carriers? How many boats are in Israel's waters? All around Israel,
lot.
How many?
There's a whole fleet,
32.
I believe.
You know why? A lot of people take it for granted. And this administration wasn't there for Israel.
No.
And
no,
I don't know the final plan for Israel, but it's in the Bible. And God said, the Jewish people are my people, right? I'm not Jewish, or I don't know if I'm Jewish. I've never done a DNA or anything. But
don't give it to him. Don't give it to him.
Huh?
Don't give him your DNA.
No, I'm not, because that's the way they do another virus with people's DNA.
Right.
And that's what they claim in South Texas. Hey, carnal, que no mandes tu pinche DNA para allá, vato, porque van a estudiarlo y van a hacer algo.
You got to slow down with the Spanish, Frank. I can't keep up.
Oh, okay. They say, hey, brother, don't send your DNA over there, carnal, brother, because over there they're going to study your DNA and try to make a virus that will kill you. If the corona didn't kill you and these other one didn't kill you, they're going to do one that will kill you. Oh, okay. So, no, don't DNA. And also going back, right?
Right.
No. This administration took it for granted, Israel, and now they're saying Blinken is out there politicking for Kamala, because if they go to war tonight, Kamala will not win because they took it for granted. They took Israel for granted. They didn't send them arms. They didn't even do a whole bunch of news conference that look, Iran or Hamas or this or that, you know, stay away or do these. They never batted for Israel.
No, they
that's why they
didn't. So.
And that's why all those aircraft carriers are over there, because a lot of people don't say it, that if it's a holy wall, nah, it's not a holy wall. It's not a holy war. It's no más que andan
we'll have to wait and see, Frank. We'll have to wait and see. So,
and that's why everybody's politicking for Kamala over there, because if they do attack, it might be the end of the world, buddy.
It might be.
And that's why I spoke yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
all right. Well,
thanks, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
And we will
Yes, sir,
talk to you
anytime.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, I mean, you just never know. And speaking of bad things, like Frank was just talking about. Now, Will, you're going to like this a lot. If you've watched that new Star Wars series, The Acolyte, I hope you enjoyed the first season, because Disney said it's one and done.
No, I know.
I did not watch it past one episode because it was horrible. And all I can say for that is thank you, Disney, for making it one and done.
I'm too much for a Star Wars fan. Of course, I watched the whole thing.
Yeah,
and I didn't have as I there again. I take the good stuff. I've read some of the High Republic books, so I liked some of the stuff in there that they made reference to.
Right.
I don't like the woke reference stuff, but anytime Kathleen Kennedy puts her fingers in Star Wars,
oh, it's horrible.
It immediately goes to poo.
Yes. Yes.
And so I knew that was going to be the case somewhere in the back of my mind. She screwed up Book of Boba Fett because she kind of made him soft.
Yep.
It's like everybody wanted, if we'd have had a hardcore criminal Boba Fett, the way he's supposed to been, that series would have been badass, because Dave Filoni had just enough, and they had just enough in it.
Yep.
That, and you notice the best episodes of that whole series were the Mandalorian episodes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were.
So it's like, what's wrong with this? And of course, Mando is a badass.
Yes.
And Boba Fett should have been better than Mando. Should be more of a badass. So if that had been the case, they would have been cool. But, and sorry, you get me on my Star Wars soapbox there with some of that and go off on a tangent. But I'm still hopeful, and let's see if the Mando and Grogu movie. I think Filoni will. And there again, I loved Ahsoka. I thought that was a great series. I think that it was there's some other stuff that I like that I think they're going to continue to save. But we'll see if they continue to listen to Kathleen, or at some point they'll just cut that chick loose.
They should, but I mean, she's there because Lucas kind of put her in that place. But you know what every one of those people need? They need an Atlas makeup mirror.
There you go.
They really do. No, seriously. Because it's like the perfect gift, and it's perfect for all of that stuff, right? The Atlas makeup mirror and grooming tool. And I'm going to say, pointing out right now, that Tom's got a 5-day beard going on. I got a 2-day beard going on. And if we need to shave, the Atlas makeup mirror and grooming tool would be perfect for us as well. ×1, ×5, ×10 magnification mirrors, bright LED lights, travels easy in a traveling case, weighs less than 4 pounds. I would be willing to bet that Kevin is bringing his with him, or at least we is bringing one with her. It's perfect for putting on your makeup, or trimming your beard, or your mustache, or your ear hair, your nose hair, whatever you need to see, right? You can call inventor Rebecca Long, 575-631-3189, or you can go online to atlasmakeupmirror.com. They're also on Facebook and Instagram, and they also now have a wall mount version. So guys, this is perfect for the shop. I was outside and I got a splinter in my finger, and I don't have a wall mount one. We just have my wife's. And I went in there and I said, "Hey, I need your mirror." And she's like, "What are you going to use it for?" And I'm like, "I got to see the splinter. I can't see it." And so I used that mirror, and I used the ×10 because it was way down in there, and I was able to pull it right out with that mirror. There's a lot of things that you can use it for. Yeah. And so I'm sorry. It was a great segue for me.
No, it makes it nice for sure.
And then here's another little tidbit today. They got it all on video. There was a guy that walked up to a children's lemonade stand in Virginia and started stealing a glass jar that contained the $40 that they earned. Like, why would you do that? These kids, I mean, we're already having to put up with college kids opening lemonade stands and charging $8 for a fancy lemonade against kids, but now they're stealing their money. That's just horrible. And Michael Madsen, you might know him from Reservoir Dogs and Kill Bill. Well, he was arrested on Saturday by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department on domestic violence charges.
I thought that guy was dead already.
Yeah, no. he was arrested. So, and Circle K, well, they put in a bid to buy out 7-Eleven. And the reason that I bring that up is because 7-Eleven just bought all the stripes. We're still in the process of changing over to 7-Eleven.
I didn't think Circle K was big enough to buy Yesway.
See,
No, I don't.
No,
think they
not
are.
Yesway.
Oh, not Yesway.
Yesway is Allsup's.
Didn't Yesway buy 7-Elevens too?
No.
I don't know. I'm confused.
No.
Okay.
7-Eleven.
confused.
7-Eleven is buying all the stripes.
Right.
Right. So Stripes is going away, and they are becoming 7-Eleven. Well, now Circle K, which I'm like you, I know that they're on the West Coast and they're in the Midwest, but I didn't think they were that big. But now they're apparently putting in a bid to buy 7-Eleven. That's kind of cool. 4 minutes to the top of the hour. We got a lot of stuff to get to still on the way. We got this day in history that's coming up. We've got the national anthem and a pledge still coming up. Lord's Prayer, boob of the day. We got all kinds of stuff. Are you wanting an affordable, quiet place to park your RV while you're working in and around Carlsbad? WWRV is 3 RV parks in one. The goal to be quiet place for working tenants. So they have lots of RV sites with 30 and 50 amp available service. That depending on the air conditioners your camper needs is where that 30 and 50 amp comes in. And all utilities are included in the price, including premier wired internet at each site for your gaming and movie streaming. WWRV is pet friendly and well lit with plenty of street lights. Get pricing and contact info by visiting their website, www.rvx3.com, or call 988-0392 for WWRV. Again, we got a lot of stuff to get to still. Will, did you have any stories that we need to get to right away in this first break before we take a break?
I think we're good at the moment. We got some text I can read real quick.
Yeah.
So, Blake, do you actually expect Tom to shave? He barely even bathes, says one of the texters. Smokey in Arizona. Good morning, guys. Good hearing you on the radio this morning, Will. Please keep Tom in line. LOL. And y'all need to block Frank's number. Oh my God, that guy is all over the place. No, but Frank's got some good points. You just gotta. He does move pretty quick though.
He does.
He speaks English like he speaks Spanish fast.
Yes.
Frank should have his own 5 minutes every morning. Calls Frank's 5 minute or 5 minutes with Frank. And
yeah,
let's see.
we kind of do that already, right? I mean,
Yeah, we do. Fire Tom and hire Frank. So it says. And it's okay to cuss in Spanish on the radio because cussing Frank just did. Look, actually, it's oddly enough, yes. Because it's not English. And we're an English station. The FCC has some weird rules about that. But
really?
Yeah, oddly, it's kind of crazy. But
that I am telling you, if you call in and you have it and I catch it, we're gonna block it regardless because we don't want to jeopardize our license for it. Maybe. Curtis from the Patch says, "Love the show, guys, but it's probably a big but." Will, Blake, B, you gentlemen working with Tom, you gentlemen have the patience of an oyster.
Whatever that means. And Big Willie, nice to hear you, says this one texter.
Oh, very cool. And Frank makes a lot of sense. Everyone needs to listen to that guy. So Frank for president, really enjoy when he calls in and shares his wisdom and opinions. Not everybody feels that. Someone says, hey, Martin from the Patch says, hang up on him already. So, but he's long gone. So I caught up on all the texts and read all the ones.
I try and let him get to all his points, and then we get to going from there. Yeah, we're gonna straight up 7 o'clock. We're gonna take a break here real quick. News brought to us by Ragsdale Law Firm. Are you looking I'm going to start this over. Are you looking for the leading accident lawyer in New Mexico? Have you been involved in an oil field accident? Well, you can call Luke Ragsdale. Been in an automobile accident? It would help if I could talk this morning. You can also call Luke. Call Luke Ragsdale Law Firm at 600 North Pennsylvania in Roswell. Verdict settlements, $10 million oil field wrongful death, $9 million medical malpractice, $2.5 million oil field wrongful death suit, a $685,000 car wreck, $650,000 slip and fall in a motel, $385,000 trucking accident. Call Luke or Taryn today, 575-208-5300. We're going to check on the news. We will be right back. We're W105. MTD Radio News brought to you by Stone Oilfield Services in Lovington. Get the job done right every time since 2004.
Proudly serving most phases of the oil field process, Stone Oilfield Services has a fleet of over 60 trucks and a workforce of over 100 employees. From water transport to kill and vac truck operations, flowback services and pit filling to the clean out of rigs and tanks, as well as oiling and acidizing, Stone Oilfield believes in getting the job done right every time. Their central motto, do what you say you can do. Call them today at 575-396-1840. That's 396-1840.
MTD Radio News, I'm Blake Ovard. Kelly Smith of Carlsbad has been found guilty for her role in her 12-year-old grandson, Brent Sullivan's overdosing death from fentanyl. Smith was charged with 1 count each of intentional child abuse resulting in death and child abuse not resulting in death, as an infant was also present in Smith's home where Sullivan died. Alexis Murray Smith, Sullivan's mother, was convicted last year on the same charges and sentenced to 18 years in prison. She appealed the conviction in February. District Judge David Finger presided over the 6-day trial in Roswell. And Jesse Leba, 34, was arrested Saturday night after he allegedly fired an AR-15 style rifle into a Roswell Inn motel room. He was charged with 1 count each of shooting at an occupied dwelling and tampering with evidence. Surveillance video footage showed a man of Leba's height, build, and complexion approaching room 40, firing into the room, and then heading east towards Loveless Hospital. Leba was later found in the hospital parking lot and taken into custody. A rifle was found on a nearby fence line. Police also detained Leba's fiancée when they observed her getting into a vehicle with shell casings inside of it. And Hobbs Police Chief August Fonz released a 4-page open letter to the public on the department's social media pages to address what he called incorrect information about staffing in the department. In the letter, Fonz gave current staffing numbers along with numbers of open positions and gave examples of the many reasons law enforcement departments are struggling with hiring and retention. He noted Hobbs currently has 65 officers out of the 87 available positions. And that's the way it is. For MTD Radio News, I am Blake Ovard.
In need of safety and environmental services? Are the other guys not doing their job? JBW Solutions is a veteran-owned company, and they are dedicated to proudly serving the Permian Basin with quality environmental and safety services. Their expert instructors are PEC certified in Safeland USA, H2S Clear, respiratory protection, and confined space, offering monthly training topics and safety talks, fire extinguisher inspections, DOT and non-DOT drug testing. JBW Solutions is committed to sustaining the Permian Basin's diverse habitat and natural beauty with their remediation and reclamation services, including project management, environmental tech support, soil sampling, and more. Contact JBW Solutions at 860-460-4398 and like them on Facebook.
Everyone is a kid at Cliffs.
I'm a Cliffs kid. My mom was a Cliffs kid. My dad was a Cliffs kid. My brother and sister are Cliffs kids. Even my grandma was a Cliffs kid.
Be a kid.
Get your tickets at cliffsamusementpark.com.
Over 30 rides and attractions makes Cliffs a blast for everyone. You never have to choose at Cliffs. You get it all.
Get your tickets at cliffsamusementpark.com.
Be one with fun.
Visit Hobbs, New Mexico for Hobbs August Nights, coming to downtown Hobbs August 23rd and 24th. Stay the weekend and enjoy the car show, food, family fun, shopping, and concerts. Friday night, it's local bands beginning at 6 p.m. Saturday night, jam with nationally known artists at the Downtown Plaza. Brought to you by the Hobbs Chamber of Commerce, the J.F. Maddox Foundation, New Mexico Junior College, United Way of Lee County, and the City of Hobbs, August 23rd and 24th. See Hobbs August Nights Facebook page for lodging and concert details. Advertising paid for by City of Hobbs Lodgers Tax.
What could possibly live out here is a question you've probably either asked yourself or heard from someone else. The answers are all waiting for you at the Living Desert Zoo and Garden State Park in Carlsbad. Located at the top of the Ocotillo Hills, the Living Desert will take you through a variety of habitats, from the sand hills to the arroyo, from the Pinon Juniper Zone, and through the Canyonlands along the 1.3-mile self-guided tour. Features like the nocturnal exhibit, a walk through the park, including the aviary and reptile exhibit, will give you a glimpse into the hundreds of species of plants and animals adapted to the arid climate of the Chihuahuan Desert. In addition, the Succulents of the World greenhouse exhibits highly adapted plants from many parts of the world. Don't forget your souvenirs from the Visitors Center at the Living Desert Zoo and Garden State Park in Carlsbad. Open every day except Christmas Day, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., with last entrance being at 3:30. Visit livingdesertnm.org or call 575-887-5516 for more information. Paid for by City of Carlsbad Lodgers Tax.
Be in the Breakfast Club with $1 million guarantee. At some point this morning, Tom A. will fall asleep.
It's time to wake up, wake up.
Call or text now, 877-396-W105 to talk to B in the Breakfast Club.
And it is 7:06 KWMW Maljamar, also known as W105. So apparently Panda Express is also bringing back its blazing bourbon chicken for a limited time. I think that's kind of good. Have you ever had that, Tom?
No, but it smells good.
Yeah, it does. And an Applebee's customer in Portage, Indiana was arrested earlier this month after she ordered the all-you-can-eat deal. Then she tried to share it with everyone else. I think we had that as our boob one day. She tried to give everyone else her all-you-can-eat.
Not how it works, guys.
No. And one last food thing, Buffalo Wild Wings, well, they have a new ultimate bacon menu, which includes bacon mac and cheeseburger, a bacon patty melt, and a BLT and new buffalo bacon sauce. Tom, you're a fan of the buffalo wings?
No.
No, don't like the hot stuff, huh? Oh, so much stuff going on. The Blue Hole reopened, by the way. The city of Santa Rosa will reopen the Blue Hole for scuba and free diving starting on Friday the 30th. Blue Hole was closed after an underwater boulder broke off and reduced the water flow. Remember, we had that story a little bit ago. But the city reopened the tourist hotspot for swimmers at the end of July, and now scuba and free divers will again have access. Pretty good right there. And the University of New Mexico says it is now working to implement body cameras on its campus police. My question is, what took so long? Like you would think that you would need body cams on your camera, especially when you're dealing with college age kids, right? Well, it's going to cost the school more than $340,000 just to do the cameras. And then it will cost them $279,000 annually.
Sure, they wanted to spend that money on that, huh?
So $500,000 just to have body cameras for their cops out there. And I got this little survey thing. What is the greatest country song ever made? And this is a good time to remind you that our text line, which is brought to you by Amigo Machinery, is 877-396-9105, because this will take some input. Will, you got to listen up. What's the greatest country song ever made? Now, this is according to Outkick. And the number one country song ever made, Amarillo by Morning.
George Strait.
George Strait. Number two was courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue.
Toby Keith.
Take Me Home, Country Roads.
John Denver.
Friends in Low Places.
Garth Brooks.
The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia.
Reba McEntire.
A Country Boy Can Survive.
Bocephus.
A Boy Named Sue.
Johnny Cash.
Or Folsom Prison Blues. They tied on the Johnny Cash. The Gambler.
Kenny Rogers.
Stand By Your Man.
Tammy Wynette.
And Mama Tried.
That is Johnny Paycheck.
That is
Merle Haggard.
Oh, Merle Haggard.
And every single one of those we play on W105.
That's right.
So
I got one wrong. I got both of them right.
No, you got, the last one. But, but
it was close.
I was impressed that you got as many as you did, Tom A.
Yeah, I was too.
I play them every day.
And
you didn't even mispronounce anybody.
Right.
That was a win right there in my book. But yeah, so that's kind of interesting that came out. What do you think about that top 10 list? You can text us, let us know.
I think it's pretty solid. I mean, for all time, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree. I couldn't find a lot of fault with that. I might rearrange them a little bit, but yeah.
Agree. And everybody's going to have a little preference on which one they like better.
Sure.
I might have had a Don Williams song in the top 10 somewhere, just personally. That's me.
Right.
But I can't argue with the ones that they had.
No, it was pretty good. We need to probably check on the weather again here. And in case you haven't heard, it's hot outside.
And getting hotter.
Yeah, we're right around 100 no matter where you are in southeast New Mexico. Of course, if you're in Carlsbad and Roswell, you're looking at 105, 106. for the highs for the next couple days. If you're in Hobbs, Lovington area, you're looking at 102. But we're going to have a cold front come through on the weekend.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, all the way down to 99. Maybe 97 on Sunday, it says.
Chilling already.
Does not look like there's a chance of rain in the forecast. And that weather is brought to you by Janco Janitorial, located at 324 West Main Street, Suite 102 in Artesia, where it's going to be hot. Is your full service commercial janitorial company? They specialize in window cleaning, office cleaning, floor stripping, and waxing janitorial supply deliveries. They also do commercial, industrial, and oil field cleaning. All their employees are blood-borne pathogen certified, HAZCOM certified, and PPE certified. They service all of southeastern New Mexico and West Texas. You can call Amber today at 575-703-1869, or you can find them online at jancojanitorial.com.
All right. So we got several people responded to your story, Blake.
Okay.
And there were a couple, Gary from the Patch and Jeff are of the like mind. Says, what? You don't have to call me darling by David Allan Coe.
Good one.
And so someone, I think Jeff had said he said, yeah, you never even call me by my name, David Allan Coe.
Right.
He says in the song, it's the greatest country and Western song ever written. So just by that alone, he stopped loving her today. George Jones, there's a good one that was left out.
Yep.
Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Waylon Jennings. He stopped loving her today is number one. Someone said they're wrong. And then someone else says, can you guys mix in some true Texas country and with the oldies? Here's the thing. Blake and I have had this discussion before, and not to say that we can't do something at some point, but there's also something in radio called pleasing too many masters.
Right.
And so if we do that, and other stations have done this, in fact, God Loving B made this mistake with one of the stations he had on in the area, and it tanks certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be careful. And number one, if it's not, now there's things we can do to improve. And I always want to constantly, improve and add music that we should be playing already anyway.
Right.
So, and there's going to be some stuff that we're going to be bringing in to W105 that's going to just make it that much more well-rounded. But along the same lines, we're not going to change anything. As far as Texas country, now this is one of those things Blake and I have had a long discussion about on multiple occasions. There is a possibility that we will do a Texas country show at some point. Granted, Blake's got a lot of stuff he's just got under his belt.
Right.
So he's been, the news, the sports reports, all these other things. Once he gets all that stuff down and he's ready and he feels like he, may be ready. But there's, like I explained to Blake, that's not just an easy thing that you just snap your fingers and put on a show like that.
No.
Because we have all the country music in our library already. In order to get all the Texas country that we would have to have for an entire show, number one, how many Texas country songs are clean? Not many.
Not many.
Not many. I mean, honestly, be honest, not many. Most of the Texas country guys have, we would have to make sure and get clean versions we could play on the radio of all those songs, and we have to, get all the licensing and everything else. There's a lot that goes into that. Not to say that we won't do it at some point. And we will, of course, promote it if and when we do that. But that is something that we've considered on doing, and it would be a specialty show where we would just do something that is all Texas country during that time.
Right.
So we are considering that, just FYI. And I normally don't talk about programming decisions and things like that, but the Breakfast Club's a little different. I will tell you guys what we're thinking about when we're thinking about it. So, and there are things that make sense for us to do. And one of those things is to add music that we should be playing anyway. We just gotta go in there and just readjust and things. And obviously some of the stuff is just because, every year new things come out that could be considered, real country and true country. And that we're any of that stuff, but we are at heart a classic country station.
Correct.
And more along the lines of what you would hear in a prime country with the 80s, 90s, 2000s. So, but
with
we
do
go
with a little of the really classics thrown in.
Exactly, with some 70s and some good classic stuff thrown in. We play some Hank Sr. and some Patsy Cline occasionally, things like that.
Right. And I have, and this, Will, I have an extensive library of red dirt Texas country, and so it's finding the songs is not a problem. It's finding the clean versions of them and doing all that. And when we say clean, we don't mean like no cussing. There's audio quality that has to be there.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and some of these guys have some, great producers. Some of them, they did it in their garage.
Right.
And you can nowadays more so than most, but
Sure.
there's still some things we can have that are on the radio. Someone said, play more Cody Johnson. It's clean. Look, agreed. That's one of the ones I'm talking about.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
That is one of the artists I'm talking about. And there's some that we will definitely be adding in. And there again, it's a process. It's not something you just do overnight. There's so much that goes into the rotations
Right.
and everything we do, and like the artist separation and things like that. We have to go in and tweak all of our software.
Mm-hmm. Every time we add something. So,
and you don't want to screw it up so bad that it,
No. And a Mexican bus driver was caught allegedly smuggling 92,900 rounds of ammo in El Paso. That's just a few bullets, right? So law enforcement officers in El Paso arrested 2 Mexican bus drivers on Saturday for the smuggling of the ammunition. Court documents showed that Lucio Enrique Garcia was driving a Mexican charter bus through the bridge of the Americas port of entry when inspectors found 26 black totes. 26 black totes. That's not just a few. And there was 92,900 rounds of ammunition in those. So Garcia and his assistant bus driver, Ramiro Antonio Barbosa, both denied having firearms to the inspectors, and they claimed to be driving passengers from Phoenix to Zacatecas in Mexico. That was what their claim was. Now, if you think about all the illegal foreigners who have crossed our border, 20 million of them. If you were trying to make them into an army of something, they might need ammunition.
Just a little bit.
How far would 92,000 rounds go? I mean, it wouldn't go that far, but it's a start, right? It's crazy.
Kind of scary.
And at the same time, police are reporting 3 injured in a Deming shooting. Deming Police Department announced 3 people were injured after the shootout took place at 4 p.m. on Birch Street. The department first announced it on their Facebook page around 8:40 in the evening. They said 2 people drove to a home on that street, and then the altercation began between them and another party, and it escalated into gunfire with 3 people being shot. Now, the good news on that is that Deming police say that no innocent bystanders were injured in the shooting, and all 3 people were airlifted to El Paso for emergency medical treatment.
Speaking of police, I don't know if you noticed, right, but there's a Lovington police car that's been parked at the what's going to be the new Tractor Supply parking lot.
Yes.
Now, I've just been there for the last 2 weeks. Nobody's in that car, and I was wondering what's going on. It does need to go through the Mighty Car Wash, though, because it's getting real dusty.
It's getting kind of dusty.
Yeah.
But I think whenever they park police cars like that, I think it does tend to slow people down in an area where they probably want them to slow down with all the construction and on that curve. So that probably could be. I don't know. Be willing to check in with any of our local law enforcement folks and let us know. But I bet you that's why.
Yeah,
would be my guess. And Will, can you tell us about Finn's?
I can actually. Give me just one second. So, of course, Finn's Country Market, one of our great sponsors here on Be in the Breakfast Club, and they've got some great specials going on this week. Make sure and check them out in Artesia. We've got, and of course, you can go online and check out all their specials yourself. They're at finscountrymarket.com. So you can check out their flyer. They got whole pork loin, $1.99 a pound this week. Pork spare ribs, just $2.49 a pound. Choice chuck steak, $4.99 a pound. And then don't forget the chicken drumsticks, 69 cents a pound. They've got some great fruit specials, including cantaloupe, $1.99 each. They've got 99 cents a pound offshore navel oranges, jalapenos at 99 cents a pound. And of course, black seedless grapes, $1.99 a pound. Some great specials, those and many, many more. Online, you can find them at finscountrymarket.com. Don't forget to go by and see our friends over at Fins in Artesia. And again, the weekly ad available at finscountrymarket.com. Proud sponsor, Be in the Breakfast Club.
And speaking of Artesia, the Artesia City Council voted to allow authorized alcohol on city property. Yep, they passed that ordinance that will regulate the consumption of alcoholic beverage on city-owned property at the Artesia City Council meeting. They did it on Tuesday. The current ordinance does not allow for the consumption on city property under circumstances or under any circumstances, whereas the new ordinance will allow it when authorized by a resolution.
Oh,
so the council also held a deliberation on the proposed transfer of a liquor license for the 7-Eleven store at 104 North 1st, and after an evaluation of the request, the council voted in favor of approving the liquor license transfer. So kind of interesting things going on in Artesia today, and you can get those specials from Fins over there for sure. Sorry, I've got a mess here. I've got all my stories everywhere, and I'm having to shift through them.
I want to talk real quick about a promotion we've got coming up. So you guys, I know we've got some Cowboys fans out there. I know we've got some Cowboys haters, but we might have some Philadelphia Eagles fans too. So I don't care who wins the tickets. I mean, ultimately, as long as somebody enjoys going to an NFL game, we're going to give away some tickets. Now, these are not just any tickets. These are Hall of Fame level tickets. So these are in the Hall of Fame level at Texas Stadium. We've got tickets to give away. And of course, we got lots of sponsors we're going to talk about starting next week. We're going to give you chances to qualify. It's going to be a phone-in contest, a lot like our cash contest. So you'll listen for a sounder, and when we play it, you'll call in and qualify for Dallas Cowboys tickets. And again, like not just any game, it's going to be the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles in November at Texas Stadium. It's going to be a huge game. You don't want to miss it. And these are some great seats. So definitely make sure, and we're going to have a nice little prize pack to go along with it. We'll give you money for hotel and gas and all that kind of fun stuff too. So it's going to be a cool little prize pack, and we're going to give that away. And we've got lots of sponsors coming on. We've got several of our Carlsbad friends, and of course Hobbs and Artesia are coming on to help sponsor it as well. So we'll talk more about that in the coming weeks. Definitely starting the competition, and we're going to start qualifying people next week starting on Monday.
That is an awesome sounding trip.
Yep. And
of course, we got this day in history still coming up. We still got the national anthem and the pledge on the way, the Lord's Prayer on the way, Boob of the Day on the way. Will, Tom, did you guys see this story? There's a story out that says that Thomas Crooks, of course, that was the guy that attempted to assassinate President Trump. Well, there's video out of him now where he's just casually walking through the crowd in Butler, Pennsylvania about 2 hours before the shooting.
Right.
And it was at that campaign rally. Of course, there's booths and things like that out there. And in the short clip, it was by the clothing company Ironclad USA. It shows him dressed in shorts and a t-shirt that says Demolita on it, walking past a line of vendors that were selling Trump merchandise. Now, he was wearing the same t-shirt when he opened fire on the president. So that video is a little bit eerie, just for them to do it. It's that story just coming out this morning. And I thought that was
so much of that whole thing just smells to high heaven.
Doesn't it?
It does.
Doesn't it?
So I don't, you sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist when you start talking about stuff, but then you find out more and more information, and some of the stuff just seems it's almost like a conspiracy theory to believe otherwise, to believe that everything was normal the way they say it was. It's like, okay, something is not right, because it was just too perfect a placement for a sniper, for anybody who really believes that any professional Secret Service person could have ever let that happen and not have thrown up a red flag.
Oh, 100%. There's every law enforcement person who has ever had any kind of security detail says that roof should have been secured.
First thing.
I mean, it doesn't matter if it was outside the perimeter. Right.
The roof.
Yes. And it was with a clear line of sight and an easy shot away.
Yeah.
Right. If the guy would have been a better shot,
we would have a dead president.
Well, and
we would have more dead people. Yeah.
Well, and if Trump hadn't turned his head right when he did.
He did. Yes. And that was, he never had a chart before, and he turned to look at that chart, and that turning of the head,
saved his life.
Yeah, because it would have gone through the back part of his head.
Ugh.
And I think he knows that. And speaking of how things can go wrong, are you running low on fuel on 128 between Jal and Carlsbad? Well, you can check out the brand new Twin Wells fuel station 2.75 miles south of 128 on Buck Jackson Road. Twin Wells fuel station is open to the public. This is a very large, nicely built station with plenty of cover. They sell unleaded, green diesel, red diesel, and DEF. Twin Wells fuel station accepts all major credit, debit, and fleet cards. Don't sweat making it to the next town. Fill up just south of 128 on Buck Jackson Road. Be safe on the road from Twin Wells fuel station. Like I said, this is the day coming up. We'll check on the weather in a little bit. We'll check on more news coming up. But authorities are investigating the death of an airman from Cannon Air Force Base. Well, they're confirming the death. He was deployed and he was killed Thursday in a non-combat related incident. His name is Staff Sergeant Tristan Wright. He was 28. He was out of Palm Bay, Florida, assigned to the 27th Special Operations Logistics Readiness Squadron. He was deployed in support of Operation Inherent Resolve. Now, I didn't go look that up, and I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it was a non-combat position. Probably kind of like Tim Walz did, was non-combat, but Tim claimed to be combat. Anyway, according to Cannon Air Force Base, he was assigned to various logistics and other outfits. He was assigned here from before he came here. He was assigned to Kadena Air Force Base in Japan from 2017, 2019. And his decorations include the medals for good conduct, a Global War on Terrorism medal, and a National Defense Service medal. Now, Will, have you ever heard of a Global War on Terrorism medal?
No, but not to say that, there are certain places that put out new medal of the week.
Yeah. And of course he is Air Force, and the whole joke usually goes around with servicemen that, Air Force and anyone else can get one for going grocery shopping, but that's just kind of the way that works. And then for our folks just south of here down in Kermit, they had a boil water notice going, and it's no longer in effect. It was lifted yesterday afternoon, but they tell you to still go ahead and flush your household pipes, the ice makers, water fountains, anything that uses drinking water or cooking water, flush that, run some water softeners through a regeneration cycle, and replace and clean any filters. So, because they've lifted that boil notice, that goes for the same for any boil notice.
Right. Well, on that very note, Frank sends the text. He says that Santa Perlita has been shut down for a virus. Heads up, where we live in South Texas, our local government is still playing the scare tactic for us to comply, but we know better, says Frank. So apparently there's some water scare over there, sometimes virus scare.
Well, speaking of text, John from Eunice. Good morning, guys. Will, it's good to hear you guys on the air this morning, man. I had a buddy of mine stop by the booth at the fair and pick me up a T-shirt. Will, I told him to ask you for a Fat Man shirt in a 3X, and you got me fixed up. I sure appreciate it. Man, thank you, sir. Have a great day. John, you're welcome, buddy. And when you told me it was John from Eunice, I was like, oh, of course. Anything you want. Here you go. So we appreciate you texting in all the time, too, John.
And it was a publicity stunt on Trump's side, according to this texter. Didn't believe that on that assassination attempt was
okay. I'm gonna ask you to put on a real thinking cap for a minute, right? Do you honestly believe that is a political stunt? Do you believe anyone, would you put yourself on a stage and have someone shoot that close to your head and only do it when you turn your head to barely nick your ear?
Well, look, and if there was any doubt that this was legit, the Democrats would be all over it. I mean, for real.
Right.
Like the real Democrats would be they would be going at this hard, and they tried.
Yeah,
They
right.
tried to say it was a shrapnel, that it was just a piece of a bullet, and then
Right.
they after they analyzed everything, they go, no, actually, it was the bullet.
Yes. There is no one on the planet that I know of, unless they want to die,
Mm-hmm.
who would put themselves in that position and trust someone 160 yards away to be a perfect shot with open sights.
Well, and the fact that other people, got injured and one lost their life,
Right.
Yes.
eliminates any possibility of this being any kind of setup to me too.
So if you truly believe that, I think that you need to seek help. And I don't really say that lightly. I'm not really joking. If you really believe that that was a setup and you believe it was a ploy, a political stunt, then you actually need to go talk to someone. And I don't say that lightly, because you got to work through some issues.
Yeah, people crazy, man. People crazy. Hey, I'm in New Mexico, says this text, in a few days for a few months, then on to Pennsylvania and Ohio and West Virginia, then back to New Mexico. But guess what? I always stream you fellers. Well, thanks for tuning in to W105.
Thank you. We
That's
really
Curtis,
appreciate
by
that.
the way, this morning.
Well, we really, really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
And Albuquerque police, well, they halted a public safety survey. Like they put one out. They were hoping to hear from the community through their new survey, but they closed it shortly after lunch yesterday. And this is why. You're never going to believe this. It was supposed to gather information from citizens to gauge community trust, understand different safety needs around the city, because, Albuquerque is dangerous, and explore the best way to reach it. So initially the survey was set up and it was going to be open through the 6th of September, and they received more than 1,000 responses. But they paused the survey to, quote, better meet inclusivity standards. Yeah, they're going to re-release the survey when it can have, they've partnered with the Office of Equity and Inclusion to make revisions to the study. Like, I don't even know what to say about that.
So DEI strikes again.
Yeah, but it's a survey about public safety.
Well, so I'm just curious, do people of other ethnicities not care about public safety?
I think that's what they're saying. I think you're saying, if you're white, we don't want your input. I think that's what they're saying. So I don't know. I mean, all of New Mexico is a minority majority state, and Albuquerque and Santa Fe are minority majority cities. So I don't know what they're saying, but they didn't get enough inclusivity. I can't even say that word right.
Inclusivity.
Yeah, man. So we still got, this is the day in history coming up. We got the national anthem and the pledge coming up, the Lord's Prayer, boob of the day. We got all kinds of good stuff. In a new book about Queen Elizabeth, it's called A Voyage Around Being a Queen. The author, Craig Brown, claims the Queen didn't like how President Trump would always look over her shoulder, as if searching for someone more interesting to talk to. She also believed that he and his wife, Melania. See, I almost pulled a Tom.
I was going to say, Tom's rubbing off on you, Blake, because you just totally did it. Pull the Tom.
Yeah, must have some kind of arrangement. Now, I'm going to go right now and say, I hate it when books like this come out. And yeah, it's talking about Trump and they're doing it just to make him look bad right before the election. I get that. But I hate it when books come out and the author claims that the person who is deceased said something about someone else, because we have no way of knowing if that's actually true. Right. I mean, the Queen of England, if there was ever a proper woman on the planet,
it was her.
It was her. I mean, she carried that little handbag with her everywhere and did all that kind of thing. But I just don't like those things when they do that kind of thing. And I know it's an election year stunt. Now that is a stunt, but and they say that some people are using GBT to compose their breakup letters these days. Like, I guess a text isn't good enough. I don't know. And TikToker Kyle Marissa Roth's cause of death has been determined, according to TMZ. They cited Maryland's chief medical examiner. The outlet reported that Roth died of cardiac arrhythmia, or that's an irregular heartbeat, from myocardial which is a scarring of heart tissue. So we talked about her not that long ago, that TikToker that died, and they finally released that coming out. And a former Albuquerque fireman accused of rape is granted travel outside of the state.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, Anthony Martin, he was one of the former Albuquerque firemen accused of raping a woman in 2023. Well, according to court records, he's going to be willing to travel. They're going to take off his little tracking device, and he will be able to travel. Yeah, and he retired from Albuquerque Fire after being put on administrative leave shortly after the allegations. But the judge up there granted the request of allowing him to leave the state and allowing him to take off the GPS.
Nice, that catch release, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. If you're in New Mexico, you can. Anyway, he's supposed to be back in court next month, and all three men face up to 9 years in prison. And some of these stories being brought to you by A Custom Construction and Roofing and Insurance Specialist. They're licensed and bonded and insured, locally veteran owned and operated for more than 30 years. An A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau for more than 30 years, and free estimates. You can call veteran Dwayne Pinnock today, 575-318-9725. A Custom Construction and Roofing urges you to be aware of unlicensed out-of-town contractors. Once they're gone, so is your warranty. And Dwayne says that they are from here, they live here, they stay here, and they will be here to honor those warranties. And Dwayne is one of the good guys out there. You can trust him at A Custom Construction.
Hey, we got a text here. Welcome back, Will. It's good to hear your voice. You bring a lot more interaction and insight to the show. Good to have the old show back, the texter's saying this morning.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And Drew from Carlsbad is asking, how about we play some Drake Mulligan? Never heard of that yet.
We're going to get all.
I think it's Milligan, but
Milligan's too. Yeah. So they're asking about that. And this one I don't understand, but I'm going to read it anyway. I like that Blake doesn't call Deaf Value like Kevin does. Drives me nuts when he calls it that.
When he's talking about DEF, yeah.
Yeah, DEF. So
I don't know where he got that. I don't know if that was something the client told him one time and he put it in the copy, but it's always been there, and so he reads it.
He does.
Yeah, it's DEF. I mean, yes.
Bulldozer from Seminole was checking in. He said, I can't tell you how many times the Twin Fuels station has saved me from running out of gas. A big thank you to those guys.
Amen.
Look, if I had known it was there one time, because I got halfway between over there and I hadn't filled up, and I was like, wait a minute, oh man. And then I remembered, I was like, hold on, we got someone right around the corner here.
Right.
And they were a lifesaver for sure. I appreciate those guys.
And if every one of those illegals just carried one bullet across, how many bullets would that be, Tom A? Asked the texter. Well, how many have crossed? About 10 million?
However many you think.
Yeah, well, 1 million, I guess.
Oh, it's more than 1 million.
Impeccable math skills as always.
A lot. Blake?
Oh, Tom A. We still got to get to this day in history. We still got to get to the national anthem and the pledge. We will be doing that here in just a minute. But a victim's family is upset after a murder suspect takes a plea deal up in Albuquerque. It was an emotional day in court for sure. Isaiah Lujan shot and killed a man who sent an inappropriate photo by text to his girlfriend. Do you remember that story? Tom, Will?
I think I remember something about it, yes.
Yeah, it was in April of last year. On Monday, he changed his plea to guilty, and then they sentenced him. But the family says that's not enough because, like I said, he shot and killed Nathan Barella after Barella sent sexual photos to Lujan's on-again, off-again girlfriend. The charges carried a prison sentence up to 20 years, but under the agreement, he'll only spend 12 years in prison, followed by 5 years of supervised probation.
all about saving the state money.
Yeah. And again, this goes back to he killed someone and he's only getting 12 years, right?
That's wrong. I mean, killing someone, look, I don't agree with the, someone sending sexual pictures to someone who,
right.
It's unwanted, but that doesn't justify someone killing someone.
No. And the judge said that they took that lower deal because the key witness in the case stopped cooperating.
Well, that's convenient,
isn't it? Now, one of the cool things about this is that Barella's mother, that's the guy that was killed, she made a request to the judge, and the judge granted the request. And basically what it is every September 7th and April 15th, that $5, I want $5 on September 7th of every year and $5 on April 15th of every year. That way my son will never be forgotten by the person who took his life. So the guy who killed him has to send the mother $5 twice a year. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a pretty high, lofty idea that the mother came up with, because that will remind him every single year.
Well, he's going to have to stop what he's doing and make sure and send that, or he'll be in contempt of court and go back to jail.
Yeah. And he'll have to serve 8 years on that. And, that is not a good time to be spending in jail. But you know where you can spend a good time? Well, that's at the Hobbs Airfield Speedway coming up this weekend. Let me see what I got here. I got, no, not this weekend. It's coming up Friday, September 6th and Saturday, September 7th. The gates open at 6 p.m. on Friday, race 7 p.m. to midnight. It's only $15 to get in, or $30 for a tech card. They got Small Tire, True Street, Gizmo on the flashlight. I don't even know what that is. They got Daily Drivers, RWYB, which ride, I don't know what that stands for.
I think that's the run what you brought that Kevin always talks about.
Oh, okay.
Run. I think it's run with what you brought, but.
Oh, that makes sense. And then on Saturday, they have a driver's meeting at 6, and you can get a whole weekend pass for only $30. Driver's meeting, another one at 5 for the other tech card stuff. And then all buy-ins are done at the tower. The back half race will start at the 1/8 to the quarter mile. And you can call the Hilton Garden Inn for rooms, or if you're planning to spend the day, they have that multi-level pass to get in. That's Hobbs Airfield Speedway. You can call them today. I am looking for the phone number. For some reason, I don't have it written down here. Call Jamal, but I don't have his number. You can find him, though, on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. That is the way to find him.
Be there.
Great weekend of racing. Check it out. Friday, September 6th, the TNT, and Saturday, September 7th with the race there as well. Yep. But lots of great racing action going on at Hobbs Airfield Speedway.
And I want to thank everybody that's in our listening audience this morning for putting up with my getting through all of this. So we're going to get better as we go.
There again, I think Blake's doing a great job. He got thrown in the deep end, so he's been asked. And I the best way is to learn. And so I could be reading some more sponsor cards, but I wanted him to do it because, like I said, the more he does it, the better he'll be. And you never know when B's going to have to be out. I'm going to try to be here all this week so I can help out. But because Kevin's in the transition, he originally planned to be here today, but I guess the way the tickets got booked, they had him leaving right as the show was starting. So
yeah.
He couldn't stick around.
Tom in the text.
Yeah, well, for Jamal, you wanted his phone number. It's 575-631-5099.
There you go.
For Hobbs
and of course, our question of the day, our text line brought to you by Amigo Machinery. Text line 877-396-9105. Our question of the day, because it's Senior Citizen Day, is who is your favorite senior citizen?
Well, one of the texters said my favorite was Bill Clinton. I mean, Donald Trump, too, says the texter.
Those are two very different people.
Right. Of course, I'm a senior, too. You know, my birthday is 9 days away. So
Did anybody say Tom A?
Well, I just, don't want people to forget. And Will's got a birthday too. Want to forget him either.
Will, when is your birthday?
That would be Labor Day. And that was legitimately the day I was born was Labor Day. That's pretty ironic, isn't it?
That is kind of ironic. Now that you kind of share a day, and I'll say it that way because you were born on Labor Day, but Jimmy Buffett died on Labor Day last year.
Oh, wow.
So that's yeah.
I think mine September 2nd is my actual birthday, but it just happened to fall on Labor Day, and as this is my 50th birthday, it's again on Labor Day. So
right on.
Just one of those things. But I share a birthday with several celebrities, but we'll talk about that on the day. So not today.
So your mom was in labor that day.
She was.
That's
exactly right.
Was you a big boy back then too when you came out?
No.
You was a little boy?
No. In fact, there was a long-standing joke the doctors used to say after I was born. He talked to my mom and say, "This is the little lady that has them small and grows them big," because I was 4 pounds and 9 ounces.
Get out!
Wow.
I was a little bitty.
Wow.
Little bitty, and that was the only time I could ever say I was little bitty.
Wow. And the migrant death toll is up to 164 in the El Paso region. So the encounters have plateaued because they've wanted to cut those back so that Trump can't use that as a running campaign because they've let so many people in. But the U.S. Border Patrol is reporting an average of 411 daily encounters in August along the El Paso sector, which of course runs Texas and across to the New Mexico and Arizona state line. That compares with 374 recorded in July, the average. Most of them are in the vicinity of Santa Teresa. So that includes Mount Cristo Rey and Sunland Park. Now, if you remember, that is the area that Border Patrol has given up to the cartels. Like there's a lot of migrants. And when I say migrants, I don't mean illegal migrants. There were people that used to migrate to that mountain because of what it is. And they can't go there now because the cartels control it and they hustle across all the illegal foreigners coming into the country. It said the top nationalities being apprehended in that sector are, in no particular order, it said Mexicans, Guatemalans, Colombians, Venezuelans, Ecuadorians. Those last few, those are all their criminals because they emptied their jails and sent them our way.
Well, the Democrats make fun because we say things like that, but that's actually what happened.
Yeah.
Those are actually things that happened, but they just, they of course, you watch any of the mainstream media, they tout all that as just us, our talking points.
Sure, but they're not, because Border Patrol is keeping the statistics,
of course,
that actually run across.
Well, and we have reports from those countries and individually where people were saying, yes, they released all the people and sent them packing right across the border.
Yeah, man. We still got to get to, we're running up on it. I got to get to it now. Let's go ahead and do it. We're going to get to, this is the day. We got the national anthem and the pledge on the way, the Lord's Prayer on the way. Later, we got the boob of the day, good news, all that stuff. This day in history brought to us by 2A Tactical Firearms and Indoor Firing Range at 236 East Navajo in Hobbs. Well, they're veteran owned and the largest firearms dealer around. And when Kevin gets here, Tom, we are all going to go shoot at the firing range and see how many times
I get killed.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. So we're going to give Tom A gun again.
No. Fake. So here's what we're going to do with that. Okay. They have a state-of-the-art indoor shooting range with a Milo FBI training simulator where you can shoot live fire or a laser.
Okay.
And that's what we're giving to him.
I feel better.
Yeah, with more than 1,000 different scenarios. Now, 2A Tactical has monthly memberships or hourly rates available. They also have lots of ammo in stock, a large selection of optics, all types of firearm accessories, including safes, tactical gear, runt-style brand clothing, and you can even ask them about financing. Firearm safety training is available one-on-one or in group training. So if you wanted to take some firearm safety classes, you could, Tom. 2A Tactical Firearms and Indoor Firing Range, 236 East Navajo, Suite 1200 in Hobbs, or online at 2atacticalrange.com.
So when the Lee County Sheriffs had their little training simulator thing going on, Tom A did the course, and he took out more victims than he took out perpetrators.
Yep.
Not even kidding, man. He took out the little girl. I was like,
no way.
For real.
She shouldn't have gotten in the way, man.
She shouldn't. See, that's what I'm saying. So that would, as long as we're doing the laser, I'm good though.
Yeah, that
would actually be funny. Is we have to video it.
Yeah, and Dwayne has told us come on out because he definitely wants to film it and do all that good stuff. So we will definitely take him up on that for sure. So there's all the different scenarios, and you can light them up because I did the one at the sheriff's office as well, and I did the one at the park where they had the guy that had the knife and all that kind of stuff. So that was pretty interesting. That was based on a real scenario.
And one text is asking, are y'all going to invite Russ to go shooting too?
Well, he's Mr. Quick Draw. We'd have to, wouldn't we?
It would have to.
It'll make us all look bad. That's what's going to happen there. Anyway, but yeah, everybody, I think it's the whole station thing. We can watch Mandy shoot better than Tom too. So
that'll be fun.
Yeah, right. Anyway, 2A Tactical is bringing us This Is the Day on this day in history. On this day in 1680, the Pueblo Indians took possession of Santa Fe, New Mexico after driving out the Spanish and a brief timeshare presentation.
Yeah.
In 1841, John Hampson patented the Venetian blind. I've been to Vegas and I've seen the Venetians, and to think he designed it, well, that's pretty impressive. Anyway, in 1858, I'm trying these one-liners are not going over very well.
No, I got you.
In 1858, the first day of many famous Lincoln-Douglas debates took place. Now, Lincoln won the debates, but over the next several decades, Douglas saw a way lot more plays.
Right.
Oh, ouch.
Right. The winner, of course, is Abe Lincoln, and he appeared on the penny and the $5 bill. And on this day in 1878, a group of lawyers, judges, and law professors established the American Bar Association. And here's another one, probably because they spent a lot of time inside of bars. Yeah, these aren't, they're falling flat, aren't they? In 1911, the Leonardo da Vinci painting Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa.
Have you seen it?
The Mona Lisa?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. It was stolen from the Louvre in Paris. So anyway, that's what happened on this day in history. Today is National Brazilian Blowout Day, like we said, National Senior Citizen Day, and National Spumoni Day. We probably should ask people if they've ever had Spumoni ice cream. That's what we should have done. Hayden Panettiere turns 35 today. Tom, you know who that is?
Never heard of him.
I'm sure Will.
She was the cheerleader from Heroes.
That's right. Usain Bolt. Well, he's flat.
Basketball player.
No, he's a runner. He is flashing to his 38th birthday today. Carrie Ann Moss celebrates her 57th birthday today. What is she best known for?
Never heard of her.
That would be The Matrix.
Thank you. And she was also in The Acolyte, which
yes, she got. Okay, spoiler alert. Just if you don't want to spoil for The Acolyte, she died in the first episode. There you go.
Yep. Well, there you go. That's all I've seen. So.
Well, they did do flashbacks where she was still in, so she was actually in the series and other places. But yeah.
Okay, Jim McMahon turned 65 today. Tom, who is he?
Chicago Bears quarterback, won the Super Bowl in 1985.
Sure did. Singer Kim Sledge turned 67 today.
We are family.
Yeah, she was in a group with her sisters. Kim Cattrall turned 68 today.
She was in Sex and the City.
I knew you would know that.
Wow, he did. I see that. I would have. She was in Star Trek too. That would have been. There's a difference between Tom A and I.
Right.
The nerd knows Star Trek, and Tom A knows Sex and the City
and Hallmark.
She was also the mannequin. Wasn't she the mannequin?
Yeah, I do think she was the mannequin. Yes. Let's see. One last one. Jackie DeShannon turns 83 today.
He's still alive. Wow.
He is. Name a song.
Funny comedian.
Okay, fair enough. All that happened today in history, brought to you by 2A Tactical. We got to get to the national anthem and the pledge today. National anthem and the pledge brought to you by Rebecca Long. When it comes to protecting your home, auto, boats, RTVs, RVs, boats, commercials, or life insurance, commercial or life insurance. They have an S on there for some reason. Call Rebecca Long. Rebecca started her business at the age of 19, and she's still helping people 40 years later, even though she looks like it's only 5 years later. She is still helping people. So stop by the 226 West Vega in Hobbs and see Rebecca today. You can get her help, or you can call her 575-393-2661 or 575-393-2661. I don't know why that's repeated, but I just read it. Rebecca Long is your farmer's insurance agent and can customize or bundle coverage options. You can talk with her today. She is a farmer's agent. Rebecca serves Lee, Eddy, and Chavez County. Call Rebecca Long, 575-393-2661. Proud sponsor of the National Anthem and the Pledge.
This is the Versado chapter of the Guardians of the Children with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
God bless America. God bless you. The Lord's Prayer today being brought to you by Judah Oil. Judah Oil would like to remind everyone to remain positive during these times. Always keep your family first and focus on those things you have control over. Know that God is always in control and will guide you.
From Luke 8 this morning, Jesus replied when he was alerted his physical family was near. He said, "My mother and brothers are those who hear God's word and put it into practice."
This is Ashley with Judah Oil, and I ask that you join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who've trespassed against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
Straight up 8 o'clock right here on KWMW Mount Jamar, also known as W105. We got to get to news. News brought to you by North Star Laundry. Let North Star Laundry be your one-stop shop for all your laundry needs. North Star now offers dry cleaning, pressing, and starching. You can walk in and use the coin laundry, available in both regular and oil field, or let them take care of the washing and do the folding for you. Open convenience, North Star Laundry, located in Carlsbad at 609 West Lee and at 604 West Church and 406 West Cedar in Loving. We got to get to the news. We still got lots of stuff coming up. You won't believe what Chicago teachers have done to 320,000 kids. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about a neighbor catching a possible home explosion on their video camera, and all of that still on the way. Got to get the news right here on W105.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster.
Former President Barack Obama firing up the crowd at the Democrats' convention in Chicago after a ceremonial roll call vote nominating Kamala Harris for president.
I am feeling hopeful because this convention has always been pretty good to kids with funny names who believe in a country where anything is possible.
He says he's the only one stupid enough to speak after his wife, Michelle.
Kamala Harris is more than ready for this moment.
Tim Walz accepts the Democrats' vice presidential nomination this evening. Former President Trump campaigns with his running mate J.D. Vance in North Carolina today. He was in Michigan yesterday.
Every auto worker here will be out of a job within 3 years if I'm not elected.
Most polls have Vice President Harris ahead of the former president slightly in Michigan. Her big convention speech is tomorrow night. America's listening to Fox News.
This is Davis Smith, the Guerrilla Lawyer, and I'm talking to you from my office on 3130 North Grimes in Hobbs, New Mexico. Our office has exploded with new clients. And do you know why? Fast settlements, fantastic customer service, and man, we love paying our clients money. If you get injured in a car wreck, you come see the Gorilla. Remember, if you get injured, you get the Gorilla.
Visit 3130 North Grimes or call 575-964-2720. That's 964-2720.
Don't miss an evening with the all-star lineup of Ricky Skaggs and his band, Kentucky Thunder. This performance is packed with Skaggs' greatest hits, beautifully blended vocals, and blazing fast instrumentals. Performing for 2 nights on Wednesday, August 21st and Thursday, August 22nd at the Spencer Theater in Alto, New Mexico. For tickets, call the box office at 575-336-4800 or online at spencertheater.com. We'll see you at the Spencer.
Dig in to the 2024 Brews, Blues, and Barbecue Beer Fest at Inn of the Mountain Gods. Saturday, September 21st, starting at noon. Sample 200 of your favorite beers, paired with the Southwest's best barbecue and great live blues music on the shores of beautiful Lake Mescalero. Tickets available for $25. The 2024 Brews, Blues, and Barbecue Beer Fest at Inn of the Mountain Gods. For details, visit innofthemountaingods.com. Minors must be accompanied by an adult.
This is Lane Adams, Market President of Citibank. Our bank is stepping up in a big way right now to match any donations to the Community Foundation of Lincoln County. During the month of August, when you make any donation to the Lincoln County Community Foundation, Citibank will match that donation up to a total matching donation of $50,000. That's any amount you wish to donate to this important fund that goes directly to the fire victims. Citibank will match it up to a total donation of $50,000. So stop by any Citibank location in New Mexico or Texas. Member FDIC.
At the New Mexico Museum of Space History in Alamogordo, there's no shortage of fun and adventure for the entire family. Explore a wide variety of space-related exhibits, including an interactive space shuttle simulator, a real moon rock brought back on Apollo 17 by New Mexico astronaut Harrison Schmitt, rare replicas of the first man-made satellites, Sputnik and Explorer, and the Gargoyle, an early guided missile. Visit the New Mexico Museum of Space History, Alamogordo's premier tourist destination. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 till 5. Sunday, noon till 5. Closed Tuesday.
Honey, what are you doing? It's 4 a.m.
Well, I'm making a big breakfast for you and the kids. We got to get going this morning. It's a long drive to Midland Airport.
I booked our flights out of our airport here in Hobbs. It's in town, not in Texas.
Well, you want some toast?
Is that strawberry?
Organic boysenberry.
I'm going back to bed.
Love you.
Flying in and out of Hobbs gives you more time and less stress. So when it's time to fly, you gotta fly Hobbs.
What is the Safe Haven Law? In New Mexico, you can bring your infant up to 90 days old to any Safe Haven site without fear of being criminally charged. This includes hospitals, fire stations, and police departments. Monica Kelsey, founder of Safe Haven Baby Boxes, has worked diligently to provide 3 baby box locations for your convenience. Hobbs's Baby Box is at Fire Station 1, 301 East White Street. Carlsbad's Baby Box is at Fire Department Station 1, 401 South Halegueño Street. Roswell's Baby Box is at their Central Fire Station, 200 South Richardson Avenue. Remember, if you can't make it to one of these Safe Haven Baby Box locations, you can take your infant to any hospital, police department, or fire station. No shame, no blame, and no names. Visit shbb.org for more information.
Turn the radio on.
Getting you up.
Just do it.
And getting you going.
Love this.
Call or text 877-396-W105 to talk to Be in the Breakfast Club. If your coworkers don't listen to Be in the Breakfast Club, they're not being productive.
Okay, everybody listen up. Listen, or we'll be fired.
And it is 8:05. And yeah, you're not going to believe this about Chicago schools. Well, they will be almost completely empty this week. And they did it by design. The district leaders pushed the usual start of their school year back by a week to help the city, quote, accommodate the estimated influx of 75,000 visitors and allow time for students to attend, volunteer, and participate in hosting the convention. So, yeah, that's right. 320,000 students are being kept out of school so they can watch a political party talk about the importance of education. Right? Teachers are still expected to report to work for professional development days. But, man, they are still busing teachers to Soldier Field on Thursday to watch Harris's acceptance speech.
Please. No.
It's hard to imagine that they could have been quite so accommodating to the Republican Party if that would have happened. But yeah, here's the other thing about that is enrollment has dropped by about 50,000 students in Chicago schools, but they still want $50 billion for Chicago schools. Now that's kind of a crazy amount, I think. And crews reported Sunday morning to a home explosion in Albuquerque, and a neighbor caught it on camera, like one of those little Ring doorbells. It was about 3:41 in the morning when the single family home near Manuel and Chelwood Park Boulevards, that's close to the tramway, they arrived and found heavy smoke and fire coming out of the front door. And one neighbor says they caught it. So they put it up on social media, and it shows a popping sound coming from the fire. And according to Albuquerque Fire Rescue, that was ammo inside of a locked gun safe.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, that's kind of another reason to keep that under control. Now, crews brought it under control within 45 minutes, and they even rescued a dog that did not have any injuries. And the hazmat team came and checked out the rest of the home, said it was okay to go back to. So that's the one. I wasn't taking out the trash. I missed the trash can. So
You missed it, ladies and gentlemen.
So anyway, thought that was pretty interesting about the Chicago kids and that fire. That was both interesting.
So one of the texters says, so let all the corrupt kids still ask for money. It's BS.
Yeah, absolutely. And Donald Trump, he was, he doesn't mind answering questions ever, right? And
unlike Kamala.
Yes. Or JD Vance or any of those. He was walking along and a reporter tried to race bait him. And of course, this is all going on because of the Democrat convention going on. And so I have a response from him. I had this little clip. I was going to play it earlier and I forgot. So I wanted to get to that, coming back around to the political thing. Here's Donald Trump, and he's kind of shutting down this race baiter.
Who was here in 2021? Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
So what she was asking is what it was like to meet in a town where Ku Klux Klan members met and stuff like that. She was trying to bait him into that. And so his response there, well, who was here in 21? And she said, and Joe Biden, if you couldn't hear that very well.
Oops.
And so he got this really big smile on his face, and then you heard his response and he walked away from the mic.
Well, and the thing that kills me is there's one candidate or there's one party in particular who has more connection to the Ku Klux Klan and slave owners. So Joe Biden, friends with Robert Byrd, Kamala Harris's family used to own slaves. So it's been confirmed on both of those counts. But of course, the media conveniently forgets all that, and they have yet to have one incident, one real, true incident of, they say, oh well, his business practices are okay. Then show me one.
Right.
Nope, can't do it. So there's no they just push this narrative without any facts. And the sad part is that people, and this is why they do it, because people believe it.
Mm-hmm.
People just say, well, the news said it, so it's got to be true.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, that's the thing is you look at this and you say, okay, like you just pointed out, Joe Biden, really close ties with the KKK.
He's a racist.
Kamala Harris, not only did they own slaves, they dealt in slaves. They bought and sold slaves. Her family. That's her legacy. She is a slave trader by ancestry.
Well, and I mean, if you, she did her reputation by itself, but on her own wasn't much better with what she did in persecuting a lot of, first-time drug offenses in California.
Right. And so she doesn't, you'd like to think that she's kind of tough on crime a little bit being a prosecutor. Well, that's not the case. Right. I mean, she did throw the book at people that probably should have some leniency, but the people that she needed to throw the book at, she let out.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a real good thing, Tampon Tim AWOLs. The closest he came to war was when he let the BLM burn down his city. That was the closest he came to war.
That's the most action he saw.
Yeah. Now, the funny thing about that is Kamala Harris bailed all those people out. So everyone he let do it that they arrested, she bailed them all out.
Well, and yet they persecuted nonviolent protesters for January 6th.
Yes.
And because now were there ones that, broke and entered and did damage to property? Yes. Do they deserve to have some kind of consequence? Yes. Do they deserve anything? I mean, but there again, when we're comparing the two scenarios, we had people who killed and did millions of dollars in property damage versus people who broke a couple of doors, maybe sat on Nancy Pelosi's desk, whatever. And all those, yes, and walked past some barricades. And some of those people were let in. So, I mean, there's a whole different level of who we're prosecuting and who we're not.
Right. And, if you could have if you were one of the people that walked in there and sat at someone's desk, and they didn't really even sit on it, they just sat in the chair, many of them, to take pictures.
To take a selfie. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They stayed on the carpet for the most part. They stayed behind the ropes that were there, to keep people from wandering to other areas.
Right.
That's normally there. So it's not like they were in an area that doesn't get to go to an area, right? They were there. So I don't know.
Well, and then you have people who are in there again. I don't agree with everything he does, but I definitely agree with him on this. Our buddy Coy Griffin, who was, just using a megaphone outside, never walked inside once.
No.
Yes, he was in a place where technically he wasn't supposed to be, up on the side, but he was just getting up high enough so he could speak and people could see him. He was using a megaphone. He was praying. And because of that, he was held without, against his rights, was
10 days
without being able to make a phone call, without normal human rights.
And while this is all going on, there is an abortion palooza at the DNC. And this headline says that it could force pro-life Democrats to actually leave the party. They said it's just disgusting. At that convention, the abortion palooza, of course, they're degrading human life and women for the most part. That is Democrats for Life America Democrats for Life of America. I've never heard of this group.
Wow. For Life of America. And by saying that, but they're the ones that are trying to kill babies.
Yes. And they have a mobile health clinic.
Well, basically where they're offering, free contraceptive by.
Yes.
What was it? The chemical contraceptive?
Yes.
Basically the morning after pill.
Yes. And they're also offering free vasectomies.
Yes.
So I really hope their marketing is good and that everyone inside of that facility that is taking part of the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, I think that they ought to put their money where their mouth is and go out to their little abortion palooza thing and take part. So if any of these guys that are there, they should go get the free vasectomy.
Yeah.
Is there a motive to your madness here, Blake?
Yeah, there is.
Just a little.
Just a little bit. But that's, that's what they
Well,
advocate.
They're doing it to themselves.
Yeah, And they asked some people in that. They asked a couple of guys why they were doing it. And they said, and it's not in this story, but I heard it earlier. They said that they were doing it because their choices for birth control are being taken away. And I couldn't believe that they were that stupid, right? Like, how is it taken away? This has always been an option. You can go get contraceptives. You can abstain. I mean, there's a lot of ways to prevent pregnancy, right?
Don't have sex.
Deborah says, "Oh, good. They're going to give women some women free vasectomies." Well, they may have to, because some of those women or who identify as women need vasectomies,
right?
Because they still have the equipment,
the other parts, yeah. And so this is crazy. But anyway, they're apparently doing so much of this that there is a small part of the Democrat Party who is thinking on leaving. And I don't know where they're going to go. I don't know what they're going to do, but that's.
Well, if you're a legitimate, if you're a moderate Democrat and you're okay with Kamala and Tampon Tim.
Right.
I mean, because both of them are as far left as you can go.
Yes.
And so, I mean, they make Bernie look like he's a moderate.
They do. They do.
So that being said, if you're wondering if it can get worse than Joe Biden. Now, Joe was a patsy and he was getting controlled, but for someone else, clearly that's the case. Anybody who can see Joe Biden's current state knows that he's not the one running the country.
No.
So on some level, these people are controlling stuff already. But that being said, you want to give them free reign? And this is the same thing. We made this argument in New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And how close did we come to having Mark Ronchetti? Closer than a lot of people thought we would have.
Right.
And there again, how much closer would we have come possibly winning if Lee, Eddy, and Chaves County had showed up to vote?
Wow.
I mean.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the numbers of votes, if we would have had 50% turnout, just half in these counties, it would have changed the election.
It would have. And so that when we say it's important, and if you're an employer, it's you should make, granted, it's the law, but that being said, you individually, and I am an employer, guess what? Everybody's going to go vote. You can vote for whoever you want to. That's your choice.
Yep.
But you're going to go vote. So you're going to have time to go vote.
Yep. Well, and it starts 28 days early. So you don't have an excuse for not voting.
No, and there again, people say, well, I work all the time. I don't get any time off. Look, there's at some point you can find time or you can take the time because your employer can't fire you for taking the time to vote.
Correct. You can say, I'm going to go vote on voting day and go vote. You can go to the county clerk office in your county early, 28 days before the election. And it's usually normal business hours. And almost always they have a Saturday time as well.
Well, and if you're going early, chances are there's not a lot of people.
Right.
You're going to be able to go in and out real quick.
Yep.
Get your stuff done. It's not going to take that long. I mean, you're probably going to spend less time at the voting booth than you are in the line at Starbucks. Honest to God.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing about this girl who is the chair of this organization, she said that she would like to ask Harris and other top Democrats if they have ever spoken to a woman who regrets an abortion, someone who needed help from a pregnancy center in order to carry their baby to term, or even a rape victim who chose to keep the baby. So she believes the celebration of abortion does more harm to these women who have already made very difficult choices. And I think she's right.
Yeah. So. Well, and look, and the way, if you've ever been to one of these Planned Parenthood places, they push termination on these people.
Oh yeah.
Rather than all of the other options, and that should be the last resort. It should be the last option. It should be, okay, well here, if there's I mean, with the exception of someone who's got something that's life-threatening, and the Democrats always bring that out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if it's a rape? What if it's incest? What if it threatens the mother's life? Well, guess what? Uh-oh.
That was me.
No, you're good. We're not talking about those situations. We're talking, most common sense people don't even include that in the realm of possibility, because those are a given.
Right.
Those are the reasons that it's okay. But there again, how many of those people now, I know that there's unique circumstances where, people are in bad situations and they can't find out that they're pregnant. But most of the time, 90% of the time, the women know that they're going to be pregnant, or that there's a possibility they're going to be pregnant.
Sure.
And so, because most people know how that actually happens.
Right.
Well, and there are some times that women don't actually know they're pregnant.
Sure.
My daughter-in-law was one of those people. We kept telling her, you look pregnant. And she said, no, I'm just gaining some weight. And everybody, our son, us, everybody's like, we think you're pregnant. When was the last time, these things happen? And she goes, well, I'm never regular anyway, and I can't keep track. And so our granddaughter was born on our bathroom floor.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Well, I know, don't get me wrong, it happens. And there's things, but like I said, at some point, so, there's people that know know how that happens, and they're not in denial. Well, there's been people who have said that they weren't pregnant, and everybody around them, like you said, were like, I think you are.
Right. And they are kind of just in denial on that. And I don't know if it's they don't want to be or but there are exceptions to everything. Yeah. So, now, according to a new study, it doesn't matter if you're pregnant or not pregnant. So Tom, you can take part in this. Arts and crafts can boost your happiness more than having a good job. Thought that was kind of interesting. And yesterday, you probably remember me telling you, and Will, in Clearwater, Florida, there was a woman who was arrested by police after she threw ravioli at her sister.
Oh.
And so she is now out on bond.
Assault with ravioli. That's a new one.
Yeah. So her sister came home and she didn't bring her anything to eat, and the girl had ravioli, so she threw it at her sister. Yeah.
I mean, in the can? I mean, did the can?
No,
because I could see.
It was on a plate.
Okay, see, now if the can had hit her, I mean, it was a full can.
Right.
Yeah, maybe.
It was
but
it was a misdemeanor assault charge, but she's been released.
I mean, she just got splattered with some sauce. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, when the police got there, she still had sauce all over her. So,
well, there you go.
It was a drive-by saucing.
Right.
And a former Olympic cyclist, Daniela Chirinos, well, she's died after choking on her food in her Las Vegas apartment. So, thoughts and prayers to her family.
That's horrible.
And more people are taking one-way trips to Oregon and Vermont because their laws allow for dying with medical assistance. So assisted suicide.
When you say one way, you meant one way.
One way. They buy a one-way ticket, and it is one way. Yeah. Kind of, it's sad, but I totally understand it at the same time. This is one of those issues I'm on both sides of.
Well, it depends on the situation for sure.
Right. And a year after becoming a Grand Slam champion, Coco Gauff, I don't know, is heading to be on a box of Wheaties. You would think that it would be on Cocoa Puffs, but it's going to be on Wheaties instead. And the oldest person in the world, Maria Brañas, she was an American-born woman living in Spain. Well, she has died. She died yesterday.
Oh.
So she was 117, but is no more. And the value of a gold bar has hit the 1 million mark for the very first time. So, Tom, if it's a bar of gold, it's $1 million. What does that translate down to per ounce?
About 20 ounces.
No.
Did I get it right?
Your math skills are impeccable.
As always.
Yes, as always. And they are always consistent.
How many ounces in a bar? I don't know.
Candy bar, I can let you know what that is.
The average price, I'd have to do math, and I'd have to do my calculator because my brain is fried this morning. It's about $2,800 an ounce, I think. Was the last time I saw it. I can go look it up, but
Yeah, I was just curious. Yeah, then you'd have to figure it out. Yeah.
yeah. But that's so you can figure it out from just take the gold price and divide it, into a million, and that'll tell you. I think of ounces of gold. I'm not even going to guess. I thought I used to know, but I don't know. Tell you what, let's get to boob of the day before we take a break. Because we still got to check in with news and do all that. But if you are ready with boob of the day, we can go ahead and get to that.
Yeah, I'm ready. And by the way, 400 ounces
is it
in a typical gold bar.
Thank you for taking the time to look that up. So boob of the day brought to you by Desert Functional Medicine and Aesthetics. Well, they have medical professionals on staff. They offer functional medicine such as natural supplements, stem cell therapy, ozone therapy, and cryotherapy chamber. And we know when Kevin gets back, that's one of the first places he's going to head to because he does that ozone and he does the other thing. Ladies, they offer hormone and optimization. Desert Functional Medicine believes in treating the root cause of the problem, not just numbing the symptoms, not just giving out pills. Desert Functional Medicine and Aesthetics, 3900 North Lovington Highway, Suite 550 in Hobbs. You can give them a call today, 575-964-8025. They are the proud sponsor of the Boob of the Day.
So this one's pretty crazy. If you're going to run a bad business, you might as well be legit. A 55-year-old man in Florida named Jose Marty Alvarez is facing felony charges after he was caught impersonating a pizzeria. No, not like one person. A whole pizza. He was impersonating the business. So Jose had an elaborate, bizarre scheme where he'd go to hotels and distribute these fake flyers pretending to be another actual pizzeria. He would use their name and he would give them his number. So, and then he would take orders and actually make pizzas and deliver them.
Wow.
Well, it seems like a lot of work. Enough so that you might actually just open your own pizzeria. But apparently he wanted to use the other place's name and reputation and not get the backlash because he only made really cheap, bad pizzas. Jose was doing this for years before the pizzeria finally figured out what was going on and had the police track the guy down. They had been getting strange complaints and bad reviews off and on, but couldn't figure out where the confusion was and how, it's like, we didn't make a pizza like that. What are you talking about? Jose was charged with an organized scheme to defraud, along with aggravated battery charge after he fled from hotel staff that were trying to catch him, and he hit a staff member with his vehicle.
Wow.
So for all of that and impersonating a pizzeria, congratulations. You are the boob of the day.
Boob of the Day brought to you by Desert Functional Medicine and Aesthetics. Call them today, 575-964-8025. We got to get to a break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about Kevin O'Leary says Kamala's Ministry of Pricing is not America. Swimmers were injured in a dolphin attack off a Japan beach, and Kraft just launched 2 new mac and cheese flavors. We're going to get to all of that, but we got to get to the news first. And that's being brought to you right now by Rig Outfitters and Home Stores, located in the Broadmoor Mall. Extensive collection of FR jeans, coveralls, gloves, shirts, and coats. Other oilfield gear like hard hats, work boots, steel-toed boots, and safety gear. Furniture, appliances, electronics, zero down financing. You can go to rigoutfitters.com. And right next door is Scrub Outfitters, located next to Rig Outfitters in the Broadmoor Mall, the largest selection of medical scrubs for 100 miles. Your favorite scrub brands like Dickies, Healing Hands, Med Couture, and Peaches. In addition to scrubs, they carry shoes, medical equipment, compression socks, stethoscopes, and more. You can check them out on Facebook. And I was talking to Joe the other day, and in that section of $99 boots, he's added a bunch of other boots in there as well. So head on over to Rig Outfitters today. We're going to take a break. It is 8:30. This is W105. MTD Radio News brought to you by Stone Oilfield Services in Lovington. Get the job done right every time since 2004.
Proudly serving most phases of the oil field process, Stone Oilfield Services has a fleet of over 60 trucks and a workforce of over 100 employees. From water transport to kill and vac truck operations, flowback services and pit filling to the clean out of rigs and tanks, as well as oiling and acidizing, Stone Oilfield believes in getting the job done right every time. Their central motto, do what you say you can do. Call them today at 575-396-1840. That's 396-1840.
MTD Radio News, I'm Blake Ovard. Kelly Smith of Carlsbad has been found guilty for her role in her 12-year-old grandson, Brent Sullivan's overdosing death from fentanyl. Smith was charged with 1 count each of intentional child abuse resulting in death and child abuse not resulting in death, as an infant was also present in Smith's home where Sullivan died. Alexis Murray Smith, Sullivan's mother, was convicted last year on the same charges and sentenced to 18 years in prison. She appealed the conviction in February. District Judge David Finger presided over the 6-day trial in Roswell. And Jesse Leba, 34, was arrested Saturday night after he allegedly fired an AR-15 style rifle into a Roswell Inn motel room. He was charged with 1 count each of shooting at an occupied dwelling and tampering with evidence. Surveillance video footage showed a man of Leba's height, build, and complexion approaching room 40, firing into the room, and then heading east towards Loveless Hospital. Leba was later found in the hospital parking lot and taken into custody. A rifle was found on a nearby fence line. Police also detained Leba's fiancée when they observed her getting into a vehicle with shell casings inside of it. And Hobbs Police Chief August Fonz released a 4-page open letter to the public on the department's social media pages to address what he called incorrect information about staffing in the department. In the letter, Fonz gave current staffing numbers along with numbers of open positions and gave examples of the many reasons law enforcement departments are struggling with hiring and retention. He noted Hobbs currently has 65 officers out of the 87 available positions. And that's the way it is. For MTD Radio News, I'm Blake Ovard.
Find a new career at Extended Family when you work for Eddy County. They're hiring now for multiple departments. Eddy County needs certified and uncertified firefighter EMT, a code enforcement officer, an ECDC captain. Their administrative positions include a grants administrator, a treasurer's accounting tech, a payroll manager, and an IBRA administrative coordinator. Eddy County offers great pay with excellent benefits like vacation, sick and holiday pay, retirement, and health insurance. You can apply at New Mexico Workforce Connection or online at eddycounty.org. Eddy County is an equal opportunity employer.
Don't miss an evening. The all-star lineup of Ricky Skaggs and his band, Kentucky Thunder. This performance is packed with Skaggs' greatest hits, beautifully blended vocals, and blazing fast instrumentals. Performing for 2 nights on Wednesday, August 21st and Thursday, August 22nd at the Spencer Theater in Alto, New Mexico. For tickets, call the box office at 575-336-4800 or online at spencertheater.com. We'll see you at the Spencer.
Jan from Toyota here. At Toyota's National Sales Event, there's still time to squeeze more fun out of summer with a new Camry, RAV4, Corolla, and more. So go on, squeeze your extended family into a Highlander for a family reunion.
Everybody in. Tammy, Teddy, Tony, Tommy, Toby, Terry. Wait, where's Rex?
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends September 3rd. Toyota. Let's go places.
Visit Permian Toyota in Hobbs today. Toyota. Let's go places.
Hear ye, hear ye. Step back in time for the time of your life at the 3rd Annual Cavern City Renaissance Festival. Enjoy a weekend of magic and merriment with captivating music, thrilling armored combat, and all-new dazzling stage performances. Savor bountiful food and drink as you explore 2 stages of non-stop entertainment and discover unique treasures from over 70 artisan vendors. Bring your whole family for an unforgettable adventure on September 27th and 28th at the Carlsbad Beach Park. Advertisement paid for by the City of Carlsbad Lodgers Tax.
There's Aisles of Smiles this week at Bob's Ridgeway with specially marked products assisting the Muscular Dystrophy Association. And big specials like boneless sirloin cut pork chops, $1.79 a pound. London broil, $4.99 a pound. Get split fryer breast, $1.49 a pound. Then produce the large Haas avocados, 5 count for $2.99, and get the macho guacamole mix to go with it for just 99 cents. Big grocery specials like multi-meal cereals, the big bags, just $3.98. Kraft Mac and Cheese 5-count box, just $4.88. And get Betty Crocker Helpers, the big 8-ounce box, just $1.48. Pop-Tarts 12-count, 2 for just $7. Get all your Hostess snack 13-ounce boxes for just $2.98. These and hundreds of big specials where there's aisles of smiles all week at Bob's Ridgeway, 906 West Avenue D in Lovington, where it's service, quality, and where they still carry your groceries out.
W105, be in the Breakfast Club. Tom A. has lost his mind, so you don't have to.
You seem particularly triggered right now.
Call now. 877-396-W105.
He's a friend of mine. Friend with a big mouth.
All right, let's go, G! 8:35 right here on W105. Welcome to Be in the Breakfast Club. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about all the good stuff going on. Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary on Jesse Waters Primetime said that Vice President Kamala Harris's economic plan to pass federal ban on price gouging is straight up not American. He said price fixing was tried in Venezuela, Cuba, North Korea, USSR late in the 80s, and it just reduces the supply chain like crazy. It's a really, really bad idea. And then he added one other thing, and I wish I had this sound clip because he says it better than I do, but he said, quote, when you talk about price fixing groceries, you're going to have to explain how you're going to do that. And I think that is where it may fall down. I really need these policies and these ideas of which they are, for example, $25,000 to an individual to buy a home in a constrained market. I'm a real estate guy, and that is beyond insane. The amount of inflation that would create, all of that capital that would go to the seller. And so that's pretty interesting when you start talking about all of these policies that she wants to institute. Well, they've all been tried before, and they've all been tried in communist countries. So all of her ideas, when I say she's a Marxist, that's what I mean. All of her ideas are Marxist ideas. And we can call them progressives. We can call them Democrats. You can call Republicans conservatives. You can call
Marxist is just straight up communist.
Yes.
Sure
and that's what it is. If you go look at the Communist Manifesto, and I would encourage anyone who is remotely interested in politics to go at least glance over it at some point in time. And when you start reading through there, the ideas that Karl Marx, who, by the way, has never had a real job in his whole life, he was supported by someone else his entire life. All the ideas expressed in that. And if you look at the current Democrat Party platform, like that they have at the DNC, you are going to draw a lot of conclusions on how similar they really are. Then when you add into the fact on what they've done those things that aren't necessarily a plank in their platform, but it's just kind of going around the way. And this election, and I know we've said it already a couple times on the show this morning, you got to get out and vote. Now, if you are a Marxist or you believe in Marxist ideas, you need to get out and vote for your people too. I'm not saying one side should vote and one side shouldn't, although that would be beneficial to my cause, but
right.
But voting, I'm not in favor of mandatory voting, like making people vote, but we're one of the few countries around the world that on election day does not have a good turnout. Right? You look at any other country, pick a country.
Venezuela.
All right. Well, they have mandatory elections, so you must go vote.
Yeah.
Right. That's their law. You have to vote, which I don't know that I would be opposed to that if they had that, but it'd have to be secure. But a lot of other countries, take Italy, take France, take any of the European countries, their voter turnout is 90+%.
Whoa.
Every time. And they don't understand why Americans don't vote when that's the one thing that we can do that will change things. Now, I know you get people that say, oh, my vote doesn't count
stolen
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Right. But that's not true. Your vote doesn't count when you don't vote. And if you don't vote in a backwards way, you are still voting.
Right.
You are just voting for things that you don't want. And I know that's a little bit of a soapbox issue, but that's kind of how I feel about that.
No, for sure. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So we really need to find a liberal title for this texter because they've been texting in for a while apparently. And it's funny how there are certain comments they make that are kind of could go either way, but
Right.
most of them are pretty left. Like Donald Trump is too old and incompetent to serve another term. And then this one, Trump has been talking to Netanyahu trying to stop a ceasefire deal because it would help Harris' campaign. A violation of the law.
That's dumb.
Well, what exactly did he say to Netanyahu? And there again, to try to stop a ceasefire deal. I seriously doubt that, number one.
Right.
Because Trump is very anti-war. Now, does he believe that Israel is basically fighting for their life in the Middle East because they're the only allies we have over there? And they're the only real bastion of sanity? Because, I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're a nonviolent Islamic, I have zero problem.
Right.
But
just like
there are
nonviolent other folks too.
Oh, of course. I mean, well, you're nonviolent Catholic. I mean, I was, we talked about the Irish earlier. If you're doing, if you were part of certain factions that were bombing stuff. Look, I'm not with you.
Right.
So,
right.
And that's where my family came from there. So there again, it has to do with what you're actually doing, what your actual actions are. But that being said, unfortunately, a lot of people are raised that the proper action is to kill the infidel,
right?
Which is us,
right? And it says it in there. You can even talk to your non-violent Muslim friends, and they will tell you, yes, it's in there.
Now, whether they practice that is another situation. But that being said, if they're as devout as they claim to be, and that's their Bible,
right?
Then
kind of have to take them at their word.
Yeah. So,
but making those kind of statements too. Where are you sourcing this information? Because if you look at our computer screens every morning, I mean, right now I probably have 25 windows open, right, for different news sources. Mm-hmm. So it's everything from Fox to CNN to MSNBC to New York papers to local stuff to New Mexico stuff. And I don't see that anywhere.
No. Well, and there again, there are a lot of misinformation on the left,
mm-hmm.
and they claim that the right is misinformation. A lot of the stuff they claim is misinformation is actually just stuff they don't want it to come out.
Right.
But in this case, I was just watching one of the mainstream media channels when they were interviewing someone else on J.D. Vance, and they were talking specifically about how he wanted. There was something he was some bill he was pushing or something he was going about that had to do with kids, and they were saying that it was all big white supremacist run because J.D. Vance wants more white children and less children of color. And it's funny because J.D. Vance's kids are of color.
Right.
He's married to an Indian woman, and both his kids are of Indian heritage.
That makes zero sense.
Oh, dude, it was asinine. It was like a lot of the arguments on the left. They have no. Yeah, here we go. This person. Trump violated the Logan Act. Blah blah blah. State statute.
Where?
Blah blah blah. It is a United States federal law that criminalizes the negotiation of a dispute between the United States and a foreign government by an unauthorized American citizen. Well, again, that's fine that you quoted the Logan Act. That's fine that you actually have found the statute itself. But what did he say?
Right. That's kind of the key point here.
What did he do to violate the Logan Act? Just like I can't even tell you how many other arguments that Democrats make that there's no actual proof. Where is the proof that Trump is a racist?
There's
not just a feeling. No, there's not, because he's not. In fact, there's proof to the contrary, where he's gone out of his way to help families of color, where he's gone out of his way to give someone an edge or a promotion or an opportunity that they wouldn't have normally had.
Right.
And not because of their color, but just because of their situation or where they were at in their life at that point. They were hard workers. He gave them an opportunity. They proved themselves, and guess what? They went further. It's frustrating to me when they spout the same information without any actual facts. If you've got some, you can quote the statute all you want. The statutes are. I know the Logan Act is a thing.
Right.
I'm very aware of that. But show me what he actually said.
Right. And when you say he violated it, that's the proof we need, not what the Logan Act says.
Exactly.
You know, yeah. Sorry.
Well, I doubt they know, because I'm sure it was whatever the mainstream media said.
Well,
and they're very ambiguous, and they just throw out accusations left and right.
Well, and having worked in big media for a long time, I understand where some things come from. They will float out stories like the AP, for example. If you go and you have the AP wire and you get the first draft of a story that makes it onto the wire, and so it's for everybody that wants to get that story, they can put it in their paper or they can read it on their radio or TV or whatever, right? Well, if you watch throughout a day, and sometimes more than a day, AP editors will go through that story and they will change things, and it will be a next edit, right? And so you may be on the 13th or 14th or 15th revision of a story by the time it gets somewhere else. And that could be correcting to add stuff that they think needs to be in there. And I'm not calling it correct.
Well, this texter just gave us his proof, and you're going to laugh, Blake. Okay. Trump 2016 to Putin. Russia, if you're listening, quote unquote. That's his proof there. Trump 2020 to Zelensky. I would like you to do us a favor, though, quote unquote. Trump 2024 to Bibi. No ceasefire before the election, quote unquote. It's a Logan Act violation, quid pro quo crime spree, he says.
Okay.
He or she says. I don't know. I don't want to assume this person's gender.
Right. And it could be all the above, right? Because, I mean, they can choose whatever gender they want at this point.
Right.
But is that the headline? You just copying a headline from somewhere?
No, they're just taking. Well, exactly. They're just taking.
I mean, because that's a headline, though. Trump to Netanyahu. Know this before the election. No ceasefire before the election. That sounds like an AP headline after they rewrite it to fit whatever they want it to fit. And for those who don't know, things like the AP, they aren't neutral
anymore.
They don't even pretend to be neutral anymore. They align with the left, and they will rewrite stories to make it sound worse than it is.
Well, and how many of these snippets do we have running around where the left is all these major media outlets are parroting the same phrase? Like right now, what was the big one just recently? We're weird.
Yeah.
JD Vance and Trump are weird. That was the thing. Weird.
Okay. Well, again,
Netanyahu is a war criminal.
He is not.
He killed over 40,000 people that did nothing on October 7th. Oh my God. Okay.
No.
Are you really that naive?
He was attacked. The country of Israel was attacked.
Okay.
By Hamas, a terrorist organization.
If by the standards that you're applying, then the United States and every country who's ever been at war with another country are war criminals because civilians get killed in war. That's a fact of life.
Way more then than now. Israel has gone way out of their way
to try, and they drop pamphlets, but there again, and Hamas has gone out of their way to use their citizens as meat shields.
Yeah. Yes.
So who's more to fault?
Good question.
Israel for defending themselves and trying to keep there again. And Ben Shapiro's made this point a bazillion times, and he's 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
There's two sides. If one side walks away, then there's no more violence. If Hamas stops today, there is no more violence because Israel will stop.
Correct.
If Hamas laid down everything, then Israel will stop.
That was one of the things they said was
if
you lay down
Israel lays down their weapons, they are dead. Hamas will wipe them out.
Right.
You read about that?
They will.
So you got it's not the same situation. And Israel did not go and bomb a peaceful concert venue with paragliders.
Nope.
Israel did not go and into Hamas's homes and slaughter kiddos and families.
Nope.
So one group wants to eliminate from the river to the sea every single Jew in Israel.
Genocide.
Yes, genocide. That's what that is. They want them gone. And you know the whole argument that Palestine is trying to be free. No one is controlling Palestine. Palestine is the only thing that Israel is trying to do is limit the amount of terrorist activity and anti-Israeli sentiment, action, whatever can be happening in their country.
Israel gave them freedom.
They are have the right to do.
Israel gave them freedom. They chose Hamas, a terror organization, to lead their group, to lead that region. That's what they chose.
And the pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine, and there again, I have sympathy for the Palestinian people who have been misled and who have had the wool pulled over their eyes to think that Hamas or that anybody else has their best interest at heart.
Yes.
I have nothing but sympathy for those folks. And yes, there are innocent people that have died. What about the innocent Israelis? I mean, where's the outcry of how about if you're a real bleeding heart, you just hate war, period. And you're against people dying on either side. I rarely, if ever, hear any pro-Palestine protesters say that. So, I mean, the people, but there again, I've given you way too much time, Texter. You're done.
There you go.
You'll have to come up with a good name for them. So
I give them an opportunity to name themselves. I mean, Oilfield Liberal named themselves.
Right.
So if you want to name yourself, go right ahead. But and if it's super silly, we'll use it sarcastically. But go for it. Knock yourself out.
Well, and speaking of things going on around the world and things that people get into and are being perpetrated upon people, well, guess what the WHO, that is the World Health Organization, they just declared a global crisis with monkeypox. Right? For months, it's one of those things I've said it's been coming. That is the next thing. So now they have a big Q&A put out on how serious is monkeypox, how do you prepare for it, and all of those things. So the WHO has put out that monkeypox is a global crisis. So how are they going to use that? Well, we'll find out real soon, won't we? We have elections coming up. We have wars everywhere. And are we going to even get to an election at this point? I don't know. And
so someone asked where B and Tom A are today. Tom A is in the studio.
He is.
I'm here.
So B is on his way to the United States.
He is flying today.
Yes, B is traveling as we speak.
Hey, can we text him on the airplane right quick?
No.
No.
No, they won't let you?
No.
Why would you? What do you want to say to him?
Yeah.
I'll just text him or just say, hey, you're on the plane. They can't phone us from the plane.
Why do you want to?
Tom wanted to say zip lane.
Right. I mean, nobody's ever done that on radio. Talk to a guy on the plane, right?
Oh, no, we never have.
Yeah.
And someone said, don't we have a vaccine for monkeypox already, or am I wrong?
No, I think we do. I think you're right. I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but I think we do. Yeah, and swimmers, 4 swimmers, as a matter of fact, well, they've just been injured in a dolphin attack on a beach in central Japan. Now, dolphin attacks are so rare, I don't even know how to approach this story. One man in his 60s suffered broken ribs and bites to his hands after a dolphin rammed him a few meters off the Shihama beach in the town of Miyahama. That's in the Fuki prefecture. That was early on Sunday. Another man in his 40s sustained arm bites in a separate incident on a popular beach that same morning. Now, 2 more people were injured by the mammals later in the day. Fuki has now recorded 6 such dolphin attacks this year, the police say. Signs have been put up telling swimmers to avoid approaching or touching the dolphins. And while dolphins are not usually aggressive to humans, hostility towards swimmers isn't that unheard of, especially if they're trying to mess with the dolphins. But, dolphins are highly intelligent, more so than most racist liberal people. But there has to be a reason, right? Like, did they smell like fish? Did they, what was going on with this? I don't know. But Kraft, the food business, well, they just launched 2 new mac and cheese flavors. So, Tom, listen up. Kraft's original box macaroni and cheese, well, that's a lot of first childhood food fascinations. Those little tube-shaped noodles covered in that highlighter orange cheese sauce, well, most people could eat that every day as a kid. Now, even though the world of mac and cheese is there to appreciate, there's still unbelievably comforting news that comes in that box. But Kraft has 2 new flavors: the Kraft jalapeno flavored mac and Kraft ranch flavored mac and cheese. So, yeah, that's something you can look forward to, and you can look forward to that on your grocery aisle near you. And speaking of grocers aisles, La Tienda Thriftway in Carlsbad, they got a lot of great specials going on this week. They got dry rub seasoned chicken breast for $5.49 a pound, breaded chicken nuggets for $1.89 a pound, beef or pork chorizo only $3.29. They got beef franks for $5.99, smoked sausage for $1.79. They got smoked pork chops for $7.99 for a 17-ounce package. And all of that is happening at La Tienda Thriftway, 1301 South Canal Street in Carlsbad. You can give them a call, 877-5514. And in Iowa, well, the well-preserved skull of an extinct mastodon has been discovered. And officials from the University of Iowa, the Office of State Archaeology, said the 12-day excavation yielded several mastodon bones. Now, most of those bones come from the skull of that animal, and mastodons roamed North and Central America from about 3.5 million years ago to about 10,500 years ago. And this one they've dated to about 13,600 years ago. And so Iowa archaeology said it was the first ever well-preserved mastodon excavated in the state. The bones were taken from an eroding creek bank in Wayne County and will eventually find a place at the Prairie Trails Museum in Corydon. Will, you ever seen any mastodon bones?
I have not.
So I didn't know that they roamed that far north, actually.
Neither did I, but that's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And we are going to be taking a break here in just a minute. Let's check the weather real quick. The weather hadn't changed any. Still going to be high around 102 on the Hobbs-Lovington side of things. Going to be around 105.
Oh, no.
In Roswell and Carlsbad. And that goes all the way through Friday and into Saturday when we get a little cold spell. And it's going to only be 99 on the Hobbs and Lovington side. And it will get down to just 100 on the other side. Now it says everywhere should be slightly under 100 on Sunday. So enjoy that while it lasts. You can go to our website anytime, W105radio.com, and check out the full 5-day forecast.
Meanwhile, our friends in Phoenix and Las Vegas said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, yeah, because it's a lot there. So it was, I think Phoenix was around 119 the other day.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, someone was saying 115 in Vegas too. So yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, I talked to my daughter yesterday. She's there. She says, "It's hot, Dad." But she had been in Denver the weekend before training out there for the Air Force. The temperatures were like in the mid 70s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now we're going to take a break, but Will, do you have something that you want to?
Yes, actually, as a matter of fact. So real quick, we've got a pretty cool concert going on up in the mountains. So this is in Ruidoso, and I know a lot of people have misgivings about going to the mountains. And yes, you need to be aware that if it happens to rain, you need to be aware where you're at and that kind of thing because of the burn scar and the flooding.
Mm-hmm.
But there are still events going on in Ruidoso. There are still lots of businesses that could use your support when you're up there in the mountains. So we definitely support you going to the mountains. And our buddies at the Spencer Theater have a great show planned for the next 2 nights. Country legend Ricky Skaggs is in concert tonight and tomorrow night up at the Spencer Theater in Alto. So you have an opportunity to go and check out this award-winning musician. And his entire band there at the Spencer Theater, which is just a great place to watch a show. Very intimate theater. It's not a bad seat in the house, and it's got some incredible acoustics. It's designed that way. And I can't think of a better place to watch an artist like Ricky Skaggs and his band than right there at the Spencer Theater, and we've got tickets to give away. So if you'd like tickets to go see Ricky Skaggs, text the word Ricky. Just text the word Ricky, R-I-C-K-Y, 877-396-9105, 877-396-W105. Text the word Ricky right now. I'm going to give a pair of tickets. I'm going to pick a random number of our texter, give him a pair of tickets to go see Ricky Skaggs. And I don't know for sure, be planning the possibility that you go tonight and then if nothing else tomorrow night, but it is tonight and tomorrow night. So if you can go, make sure that's one of the things you're keeping in mind, that you can take off tonight or tomorrow night. Text the word Ricky to 877-396-W105. Give you a pair of tickets to go check this legend out at the Spencer Theater in Alto, courtesy of W105.
And there you go. Free tickets. Nobody gives away more stuff. No one does more giveaways. And we got that other one coming up with the Cowboys-Eagles game. Right there is just the example. We're going to check in with news right now. KWMW Maljamar, also known as W105.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling fired up.
Former President Obama there at the Democratic National Convention making the case for Kamala Harris for president. Her running mate Tim Walz speaks and accepts the vice presidential nomination tonight. Trump running mate J.D. Vance on Fox and Friends.
The thing that really unites the Democratic Party is not any shared vision for how they want to advance this country. It's their hatred of one person.
Donald Trump, who campaigns with Vance in North Carolina this afternoon. Dozens of pro-Palestinian protesters were arrested near the Israeli consulate in Chicago.
Protesters set an American and an Israeli flag on fire. They were dressed in all black and had their faces covered and charged at a line of police. Some protesters were heard chanting "Free Palestine" outside the consulate.
Fox's Brooks Singman, Secretary of State Antony Blinken has left the Middle East with no ceasefire deal in place. America's listening to Fox News.
Medications taking away key nutrients from your body? Struggling with weight loss? Pharmacy 575 offers all your prescription needs and more. From their My Daily Medication program with pre-dosed packages to weight loss plan with in-body scanner or their medication and wellness consultations, let Pharmacy 575 help. With walk-in vaccines and local delivery, they do it all. Go see Pharmacy 575 at 305 East Sanger Suite 600 or call 575-263-2908. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Pharmacy 575. Your health, their priority.
Don't miss an evening with the all-star lineup of Ricky Skaggs and his band, Kentucky Thunder. This performance is packed with Skaggs' greatest hits, beautifully blended vocals, and blazing fast instrumentals. Performing for 2 nights on Wednesday, August 21st and Thursday, August 22nd at the Spencer Theater in Alto, New Mexico. For tickets, call the box office at 575-336-4800 or online at spencertheater.com. We'll see you at the Spencer.
Jan from Toyota here. At Toyota's national sales event, there's still time to squeeze more fun out of summer with a new Camry, RAV4, Corolla, and more. So go on, squeeze your extended family into a Highlander for a family reunion.
Everybody in. Tammy, Teddy, Tony, Tommy, Toby, Terry. Wait, where's Rex?
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends September 3rd. Toyota, let's go places.
Visit Permian Toyota in Hobbs today. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Lane Adams, Market President of Citibank. Our bank is stepping up in a big way right now to match any donations to the Community Foundation of Lincoln County. During the month of August, when you make any donation to the Lincoln County Community Foundation, Citibank will match that donation up to a total matching donation of $50,000. That's any amount you wish to donate to this important fund that goes directly to the fire victims. Citibank will match it up to a total donation of $50,000. So stop by any Citibank location in New Mexico or Texas. Member FDIC.
Sutherland's of Carlsbad is here for all your home improvement and DIY projects. Visit Sutherlands.com for how-to tips and guides. Skip the hassle. Buy online and pick up in-store for free at 2101 South Canal in Carlsbad. From hardware, lumber, cabinets, and plywood to fencing, power tools, and furniture, Sutherland's has what you need for the job, plus great financing options. Sutherland's, helping Americans build it better since 1917.
In need of a tow? Those don't have to be dirty words. At Lee County Roadside, they have been offering friendly and knowledgeable service for 20 years. From light to heavy duty, there's nothing they can't tow. And with 24-hour availability, there's no time they can't tow it. Don't make a bad day worse by choosing the wrong tow company. Lee County Roadside, the good guys to call in a bad situation. For 24-hour service, call 575-392-3223 or locate them at 7401 North Del Paso, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Like Lee County Roadside on Facebook and follow them on Instagram.
Are you tired of getting turned down, let down, or turned away by auto dealers? Well, if you're hearing this, you're in luck. Permian Chevy Buick GMC Nissan has teamed up with Capital One Auto Finance. Together, Permian and Capital One can get you done. I'm talking guaranteed pre-approvals on over 500 vehicles on the lot. Cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Whatever your family needs. Come in or call us today at 575-393-1711. That's 575-393-1711. This event won't last long.
Lacked Service Company of Hobbs is hiring CDL drivers with hazmat endorsements and at least 1 year experience. Oilfield experience is a plus but is not required. You will have most weekends off and never work on Sunday again. Lacked does offer PTO, vacation, and safety days to qualified employees. Stop by 3521 Industrial Drive in Hobbs today to submit an application, or for more info, contact Michael at 575-370-4604. Lacked Service Company, serving the oil and gas industry since 1969.
Now back to a good, wholesome, politically correct. Oops, sorry. Wrong show.
Attention, this is your announcer. You're waking up to be in the Breakfast Club. You want to be part of the show? Call 877-396-W105.
I can assure you he is truly a very sick boy.
And we are back. It is 9:07. As soon as I can figure a couple of things out, I keep having something in my background. I can't find it, and I need to get rid of it so that I can give you the tweet of the day that I forgot about. I think this is it. Let me see. Nope. Still there. Oh, it's somewhere, Will. I can't find it. I don't know where it's
too many tabs open.
Yeah, and I just don't know where it's at. So I can't do my tweet of the day.
I can probably do it.
Yeah, it is over.
I can probably play the audio for you.
Yes. Okay. So let me tell you what this is.
Sure.
There's a woman in Texas, and if you can go find this, her name is Connie Claxton, and she just retired after working at Whataburger for 54 years.
Wow.
Yeah. They threw her a retirement party last week, and she worked at 10 different locations over the years, including 18 years at one Whataburger, where she met a customer who I will tell you how that ended up. And so I missed the tweet a day earlier because that is still available to be sponsored here on the show. And you can get in touch with me or Will or whoever if you would like to sponsor the tweet of the day. It normally goes a little bit earlier than this, but here she is. Here is Connie Claxton. Do you have it?
I'm gonna try. So I believe so.
Okay.
We're gonna see if I can actually play it without feeding back. We're gonna try it though. Here we go.
I thought it was the best burger I had ever ate. And I thought, well, I could do that. Still need.
It was there. Where'd it go? Did it? Will, I think it stopped. It stopped after her.
Could you guys hear it?
It stopped after she said it was the best burger she ate.
Really?
Yeah.
Oddly enough, because it was still going on my end. That's odd. Sorry, guys.
Oh, I found where my thing was. I got it.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Here, let me play it for you. Here she
go.
is. Here she is talking about her experience at Whataburger.
I thought it was the best burger I had ever ate. And I thought, well, I could do that. Still eat a junior burger every morning. Married one of my customers. I would take his order. He had a special needs boy. He was so kind to them, and I thought, man, what would it be like to marry to him? So I got up this morning and I thought, you know what? Thank you, Jesus, for letting me do it one more day. I just feel like in my heart that it's time to give it up.
Okay, so it did bleed back in. I thought I had the other thing going, but it stopped.
What in the world? Yeah, you got something going on intermittently in the background.
Yeah, I think it was an ad that was running on a different tab that I had open.
Sure.
But
Well, by the way, we got to tell our winner, William Dornan. Congratulations. Got the tickets for Ricky Skaggs.
congratulations.
Yep. Congratulations for being the winning texter today. So we'll have more chances. Don't forget, we're going to start our big Cowboys ticket giveaway for the Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll start that, and that'll be a call-in one. We'll start that next week.
Wow. That's a biggie too. That's another big trip. So this story, this tab that I had up for this story is where I think that sound was coming from. Students and staff at the Western New Mexico University in Silver City, well, they were putting a shelter in place due to a shooting yesterday, and that got lifted late last night. Shots were fired near the university campus, and also the shooting suspect is still at large. Silver City Police said it does know who the suspect is, and they are actively searching for them. And so they're asking if anyone has any information on that to please get in touch with them and let them know, because they are looking for the guy and they do know who it is. So, and apparently BMW is going to recall 720,000 vehicles with a risk of a water pump connector short circuit. Now, the fix for the issue won't cost the owners anything. They're just telling you need to bring them in and have them worked on. And there's a whole list of BMWs that are in this recall, and they range from 2012 to 2015, and for some models 2012 to 2016. For other models, some models 2016 and 2018. So basically, it has there's a seal, and it could have an increased risk for a thermal event, which means if liquid enters the water pump electrical plug, it causes a short circuit and can lead to a vehicle fire. So it is not safe. So if you own a BMW, go check out that recall and see if you're on one of those recalls. We still have good news of the day on the way. But first I want to tell you about Maine Trailer Sales. Don't go camping without Maine Trailer Sales. Serving all of Southeast New Mexico with the largest inventory of new and pre-owned RVs, including Keystone and Cougar, just to name a few. Fifth wheels, toy haulers, ultralight trailers. If you are working in the patch and living in a hotel, put that per diem to work for you. Maine Trailer Sales has been serving New Mexico for more than 65 years. You can find them online, MaineTrailerSalesInc.com, or call 575-822-1751. Maine Trailer, close to 70 years of experience with great customer service. That's the only way you can stay in business for that long, is having great customer service. And MaineTrailerSalesInc.com. Don't go camping without them. Albuquerque City Council rejects an ordinance to raise the minimum wage, which is kind of interesting because typically, more liberal cities, they like jumping on that whole minimum wage thing, which also has artificial inflation built into that. Anytime you raise the minimum wage, you're going to create inflation, which is part of what's wrong with Kamala Harris's plan on many things. Anyway, the Albuquerque City Council, they rejected that ordinance on a 6-3 vote Monday night. So it would have raised the city minimum wage, including tip workers, from $11.20 to $12 an hour. It would have also, they said, bolstered enforcement of wage theft violations. People came out in droves to denounce the previous amendment for the councilors, Brooke Bassan and Renee Grout, that would have lowered the tipped minimum wage to $3 an hour. After the public backlash, they decided not to reintroduce that amendment. Tim Keller said, of course, he's ultra left, just like the governor. We will keep fighting for workers and to raise minimum wage as prices increase so no one gets left behind, unquote. Now, again, I think this shows a real basic lack of understanding of economics. If you raise a wage, the price is also going to increase. So if prices increase, they're still left behind. It's the same. If you get, let's make it numbers everybody can understand. Tom, if you make $10 an hour, right, and a loaf of bread costs you $1, okay, and a gallon of milk costs you $1, and eggs cost you $1. Everything costs you $1, and you make $10 an hour, and you're going to buy $5 worth of goods, right? If they give you a raise to $15 an hour, but now those same goods cost you $10 an hour, have you actually gotten a raise?
I mean, hardly no more buffets.
Yeah, that's what that would mean. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a wash, and there again, it's a scheme, and it's another one of those situations where the Democrats try to make it sound like they're doing something without actually doing anything.
Right. So, if you're in Albuquerque or people in Albuquerque, you need to tell them they need to be attending their city council meetings, because they got it right this time by rejecting the ordinance to raise it.
Yeah.
But, how long can they hold out for that? Because they're going to be pressure applied, because Tim Keller's already doing it. And, you definitely want to.
Well, when you artificially raise the minimum wage rather than allowing the market to dictate and allowing people to earn, because there again, I mean, all you're doing is punishing people who've been paying their dues and putting forth, because those people wind up making less because you're having to pay the bottom part of your employees more money. And so the people who have been working longer, who deserve the extra money, can't get it because you're having to get it to these people because the government told you to.
Right. No, 100% correct. And in Las Vegas, they have now lifted all their water restrictions after the recent flash flooding and placed stress on the city's water services, much like Ruidoso, right, recently. The city says reserve levels have stabilized, allowing all residents and business to use water without any restrictions, and officials say they will continue to monitor the reserves in those areas for any future impact. Gallup is asking for information on the shooting that injured a teen. Gallup police are asking for more information on a shooting that left a 15-year-old injured. Now, according to police, the shooting happened last week near 2nd Street and Logan Avenue, and police say the teen was shot in the stomach on a dirt trail in the area. The teen told police he approached two men on the trail. One of them pulled a gun and shot him. The person who fired the gun is believed to be a white male with a goatee who was wearing a black sweatshirt. The second male is believed to have had on a blue hoodie. And if you were in the Gallup area, or you're in the Gallup area now, you can call Gallup Police 505-863-9365 if you have any information on that whatsoever. And for our friends over in the UK, well, there's a manager of a restaurant in the UK that has been crashed into for a third time. And he says there's a real risk that someone will be seriously hurt or killed. And if a car runs through your building, I would imagine that would be the case. He said that it felt like a bomb went off when the vehicle plowed through the Royal Phoenix Chinese restaurant, and added that they had repeatedly asked the council to install a speed camera outside the restaurant in hope that it would encourage drivers to slow down. Now, Lancashire County Council said it would install temporary signage and look to add a speed indicator device in the area. And speaking of the moment the car collided with the restaurant, the owner said, "It was such a massive collision, I rushed over from my home when it happened. It really did shake the building as if there was an earthquake or a bomb." Now, that owner said the driver crashed through the front of the building in a 2011 car, also hit the restaurant's front door in 2019. So it might sound like there's a problem with one person instead of a lot of people. The 44-year-old said there had been a handful of near misses at the restaurant, which is situated opposite a mini roundabout junction. It said, sometimes I sit at the bar and watch the traffic speed past, and I think, how many more of these near misses before someone gets hurt? Now, have you ever been sitting in a restaurant, Tom, when something like that happened, like a car came through or anything?
Yes. I actually covered a store in Ruidoso.
Really?
But you weren't sitting in the restaurant when it happened.
Sitting in the restaurant.
I know what you're talking about. You talk about when the lady ran into the Farleys and pinned the poor person inside. That was horrible.
Oh,
and so, but no, you weren't there. You just covered it.
Yes.
So have you been in a situation like that? No. Okay. I can imagine it would be harrowing, right? Scary.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. Will, what would you do if you were sitting there eating and like this car comes crashing through?
Hope to God I wasn't right there in front of the car.
Right.
Right.
And if, and try to help out if I could, but then, otherwise, make sure my kiddos were not in the way either. Although if a car hit me or my boys, it's probably going to do a little damage to the car too.
And a pro-Israel group, well, they've been denied a permit to gather at Hostage Square in Chicago because of the Democratic National Convention. The original Hostage Square is in front of the Art Museum in Tel Aviv, Israel, and it was given its name after a gathering place of families kidnapped or missing from the Hamas terror attacks on October 7th, right? But so, like its namesake, the Hostage Square in Chicago features art installations that draw attention to the victims of Hamas, again, the terror organization, U.S. citizens who were murdered or taken hostage, because 5 hostages from America still remain. And I think a lot of people don't remember that there are still American hostages over there, and we keep funding both sides. And one art project by an Israeli designer honors the 403 victims of the Hamas attack on that music festival you were talking about, Will. But they wanted to gather in March during the DNC time that they're there in Chicago. And Chicago has denied them the permit to gather. So to protest, they have been denied.
Well, that sounds like freedom in action.
While all the crazies that are pro-Hamas terrorists, like in favor of Hamas committing genocide, march outside the DNC and they all got a permit. So it's kind of interesting how the city of Chicago, it's going.
But is it surprising though?
Well, not really. I mean,
knowing the way the city of Chicago leans and how things go, yes. It's frustrating to me though. And this is one of the few times where certain Hollywood liberals like Deborah Messing have come out against something anybody in the Democrat Party's done when we're talking about the pro-Hamas stuff.
Right.
Because she's Jewish herself and she's big into Israel. And so she's totally against all of this Hamas and pro-Palestine stuff.
Right.
And so, which is one of the few times I've agreed with her because she can be kind of a liberal loon.
Oh, yeah.
Liberal loon, yeah.
And she's a nice lady, but yeah, she can be kind of loony.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, Kamala Harris, she's been really eager to appease these pro-terrorist people. I don't know what you call them. And remember what Joe Biden did on Monday night. He said that they have a point.
Yeah, I heard that. So what's he talking about?
Well, I mean, that's kind of throwing Israel under the bus.
Right.
Right. So anyway, so now they're suing the city of Chicago for not issuing them a permit since they issued basically the group that wants to kill them a permit, and they just wanted to peacefully gather in their little remembrance square. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Let's see, where are we? Oh, we got we got to get a move on here. We're running towards the end of the show. This has gone by quickly.
Oh my goodness.
Real quick on the text line, John Boy said, hey, a little PSA for those in Carlsbad going down 8th Street. Keep in mind the school zone for the kids getting out at the Monterey School, and please stop speeding.
Yep.
Wow.
Mama Bear's chiming in and said, this is blatantly disgusting. This country is on a downward spiral, she's saying this morning.
Continue, Tom.
All right. And Smokey in Phoenix is chiming in. It was 107 yesterday in Arizona, he's saying this morning. It's going to get hot, too, today. And mastodon or mammoth teeth are tusks are very common, this texter is saying. There's a lot being used in pistol grips and knife handles.
Really?
Yeah. Says that particular.
I would think that would be okay. I wouldn't think they would be able to do that.
Right. I think that would be illegal.
Yeah, I don't know why, but man.
Yeah.
Well, Biden, this text says, the guns killed more children last year than anything else. Just over 6,000 kids were killed in gun violence last year. Over 600 kids were killed by abortion last year. Stupid people.
600,000.
Yeah, 600,000. Stupid people, stupid numbers, says the.
Well, yeah. The Democrats try to say gun violence is worse than abortion or worse than. Honestly, I mean, there's a lot more than gun violence that kills kiddos on a regular basis, but they, that doesn't fit the narrative.
Well, and those 6,000 also count suicides. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
which is horrendous, and it's tragic.
It is.
And this text is saying, did they forget those bodies paraded around Palestine after they killed them on October 17th or 7th rather? Again, Democrats are trying to gaslight people of what really happened.
They turn a blind eye. Yep. Sure do. Wow. All right. Well, we got to get to the good news. I want to get us out of here on time if I can. We got to do the good news. The good news brought to you by Farmers Insurance agent Herschel Rustin Hayes. Yeah, at 1109 West Avenue D in Lovington. You can give them a call, 575-396-0513. Herschel Rustin Hayes does Herschel Rustin Hayes. I am tongue-tied this morning, and I apologize. Does auto, home, life, and commercial. Proud sponsor of the good news of the day.
So talk about man's best friend. A guy in Ohio hit the lottery for $50,000.
Wow.
Using what? The number from his German Shepherd's dog license.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. And finally, a creep in Michigan tried to kidnap a 15-year-old girl last week. Then a 7-year-old girl an hour later. But guess what? He failed both times. Why? Because bystanders stepped up to help both times. Cops tracked him down, and he's now behind bars. And that is the good news of the day.
Good news of the day being brought to you by Herschel Rustin Hayes here in Lovington. Give him a call today. We're going to get on out of here. Yeah. Guys, thank you for hanging out this morning. It's
well, I gotta read this one text because this guy, and I'm sure he said he left, so we'll see. I can't wait to the day you guys realize that your position on Israel and Palestine is because you believe what you've been told by the mainstream media, knowing it is corrupt. You keep spouting their BS without questioning anything. When you start to do some due diligence in other independent news sources, maybe then you'll start to realize you've been fooled just the same as I was. But now I know the truth. So glad that I am no longer part of the deception. After hearing Will today, I no longer listen to W105 because you guys are not making sure what you put out is the truth. The truth matters. Seek it. Adios, MSM puppets.
Okay.
Wow.
Bye to you too.
Yeah, great text. Thanks for sending it in.
I thought, well, way to have a discussion and actually talk about something just to say, just to put your, but there again, please tell me what I said was wrong.
Right. I mean, that's, you say that we just spout something we heard. Well, we look at a lot of different news sources.
And we do. And there again, we aren't there. And we do follow Blake and I both follow multiple news sources in other countries.
Right.
So there again, I'm going on what I know of Israel, what I know of Hamas. Is a war deadly? Is a war tragic?
Yes.
Do I celebrate? loss of life in any way, shape, or form? No.
No.
Do I hate the fact that any of this stuff is happening? But by the same standpoint, do I believe that a nation has the right to defend itself?
Absolutely.
From an attack? There again, you can. Are there specifics, and do I know about the actual instances of casualties on either side at specific moments? No. But that being said, there are certain things we do know, and that's the only things I'm commenting on. So,
right.
But thank you for your comment. And there again, I just wanted to let you know, even if you disagree with this, even if you say you don't like it, even if you say you're going to stop listening, we're going to take your comment and we're going to read it.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely. We're going to get on out of here, but first we're going to check in with news. Brought to you by Roach's Air Conditioning and Heating, the choice for your next HVAC job. With 15 years plus in the business, Roach's Air Conditioning and Heating trains its techs with the requirements and standards of all major ductless companies, servicing residential and commercial as well as industrial units for the patch. They can even offer new technology like inverter-driven heat pump systems to upgrade old systems. And financing is also available. Call 575-631-1999 to schedule your appointment today. That's 575-631-1999 for Roach's Air Conditioning and Heating. We are out of here. Right behind the news, we got the award-winning Russ Black with Tradio. We'll see you tomorrow right here on W105. MTD Radio News brought to you by Stone Oilfield Services in Lovington. Get the job done right every time since